He's going to take it himself for a championship.
A double play wins it from Frazier.
Turn it to the end zone. What a catch. Makayaton, touchdown.
Into the layup goes at the buzzer.
Volusia wins it. The championship.
The Kings Knights, St. Joseph Academy. It's the Division I OHSAA State Volleyball Championships semifinal action here at Wright State University's Nutter Center. I'm Justin Kinner. We welcome you in alongside my broadcast partner, Jackie Klein, and we are excited to bring you Division I semifinal action. A great atmosphere here in the Nutter Center as we're gearing up after an exciting day yesterday. A lot more matches today that we're really excited about, including this one.
Yeah, it's getting loud in here. We're seeing a lot of purple and red.
Yes, a
These
lot of red.
girls are hitting the ball hard and fast. I think we're in for a good match.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at how both teams got to this point, of course, here in semifinal action. Of course, Kings and St. Joseph Academy are first of two Division I matchups. Kings was able to slip right past St. Ursula to get to this semifinal matchup here at the Nutter Center. And then, of course, St. Joseph Academy over Menor again to get here as well. And really, we're in for a treat here throughout this Division I semifinal for Game 1 and 2. But let's focus on the keys for this first matchup, Jackie.
The Kings may have butterflies in their belly coming in today because this is their first appearance in the state Final Four. They need to focus in the present at one thing at a time and attack from the service line early in this match. Now, St. Joseph has to be prepared for some fast-paced serves that are going to come their way. Blocking is also going to need to be a strength for the Jaguars. And it's not about getting stuff blocks, it's about maybe slowing the ball down with a block touch or funneling it to a good defender.
All right, now let's take a look and highlight some of our key players to watch tonight. Let's start with the Kings side of the net, Jackie. Elise Marshall, we're going to be calling her name a lot today.
Yeah, number 13, Elise Marshall. She's a senior. She's a middle attacker. She's been named to the all-state team for a reason. She's big and strong in the middle. She attacks well from different areas of the net and puts up a great block.
Absolutely, and again, Kings made up of a lot of talented seniors, but on the other side of the net for St. Joseph, they're led by a star junior in Belle Grooms.
Yeah, number 14, Belle Grooms. She's a junior. We're going to see her set and hit today. She's all Ohio first team. She's coming in with 356 assists, 238 kills, 141 digs, 52 aces, and 45 blocks. This young lady can do it all, folks. When she's in the back row, she'll be setting her teammates, and when she's in the front row, she'll be racking up those kills and blocks.
Look at that scene right there. It's a sea of red on one side, a sea of purple on the other. We got a good one here. It's Game 1 of our Division I semifinals here at Wright State University's Nutter Center. It's the OHSAA State Volleyball Championships. The Kings Knights, St. Joseph Academy, next.
He's going to take it himself for a championship.
Justin Kinner, Jackie Klein with you live here on the NFHS Network, bringing you OHSAA State Volleyball Championship action here, semifinals out of Division I. And we, of course, we have the Kings Knights going up against St. Joseph Academy. And Jackie, the thing that's most intriguing about this matchup, I love the programs that are regulars here, but there's just something special about those programs, those teams, those players, those fans, those parents that haven't experienced this before. And man, what a vibe, what an atmosphere here. The Kings Knights never been to the state semifinals before, a first for them, and they're hoping to continue to set history here today.
Yeah, and I found out on social media that the Kings school sold over 500 t-shirts that say Final Four on the chest, and you can see that all those people are here today wearing those shirts, cheering on their team.
It's an amazing atmosphere already. We are off and rolling, and again, right now, Kings trying to get on the board first. As St. Joe's strikes in the early going, a 1-0 start early. I mean, St. Joseph's crowd behind us is not as large as the sea of red in front, but they are just as loud. Both sides, fan base-wise, have brought their A game here in the early going. And a good strike right there, a good attempt by Anders, but not enough, and what a start already. And that's Elise Marshall again, making a big play, our player to watch nonetheless.
Yes, we've got a great set here. Nice high swing, and honestly, that's not even the fastest tempo. She's just trying to get warmed up here, getting ready for the match to begin.
And Nice set, a strong lefty strike and a good counter. Belle Grooms, our other player to watch here this afternoon. St. Joseph's Academy goes up by 1.
Yeah, we're going to see her receive most of the balls today. She just has a phenomenal approach. She sees the court well and can go around the block or even use the block as a tool.
That's Groom's first kill here in the early going of the afternoon. St. Joe's up 2-1, and now we'll see how Kings responds. And they respond in timely fashion. An impressive play right there.
You know what I like so far is it's just been a side-out game. We haven't seen a team dominate from the line, so that's allowing these girls to kind of settle their nerves, get into the game, and feel the rhythm.
Earlier when I said it was Elise Marshall who got the kill, it's actually been Sydney Barrett who's been dominating here in the early goings for Kings. But again, plethora of weapons out on the floor. And we're all tied up at 2, and it's deflected there at the tip of the net. Set up there right in the middle, coming from the back, and Sydney again coming in strong. Still kept alive, and the lefty on the other end coming in hot. That was a big-time strike right there. Belle Grooms again.
Yeah, Belle Grooms. Left-sided play or left-handed players, you typically see them play on the right side. That becomes their strong side because their hitting arm is closest to the ball. And so she is going to do really well here, but we are going to see her hit both on the outside and the right side depending on which rotation she's in.
Trying to set up Elise Marshall right there once more. Good dig right there to keep this one alive, and a little soft tapper over the nets, chasing it down to keep that one going. And that's a good response right there by Kings. And I tell you what, we're in that feeling out portion of this match right now, and just from your playing experience again and your coaching experience right now, what are you seeing from a player and a coach's perspective in the feeling out portion of this?
Hey, both these teams are now moving really fast, and the tempo of this game is going to just get faster. As you can see, the tempo on that serve itself, I mean, it is on the passer so quick, it's hard to handle.
Avery Anders went diving for that, and that could not have been a soft landing, by the way, just because of the lip of the floor. I mean, she went rolling right off of that, but I think the adrenaline's pumping so much right now, she won't feel that till later. 4-3 Kings with the lead. And the lefty drops it down once again. We've called her name all afternoon, Belle Grooms. It's no wonder she was our player to watch here to start.
A great hitter has a hitting toolbox. She can swing hard and fast. She can tip, roll shot, tool the block, recycle the ball, find the worst digger, and we're going to see her do all of those today.
Belle on the serve. It's Dakota Henry who pops that one up, and it's cleared. Belle setting this one up. Strong delivery right there for Chloe Smith.
What an advanced set we just saw from Belle Grooms. She did a 1-foot set, spun around, ready to cover her hitter. That's very advanced.
Belle Grooms with the serve once again. St. Joe's with a 1-point advantage. Strong strike. Not enough, and now it's a 2-point advantage for St. Joe's. Kings coming into this afternoon, Jackie, with a record of 23-4. And they dominate, or I'm sorry, Kings coming in with a 26-1 record. I mean, they have really not been pushed all season outside of a loss early in the season against Ursula Academy. Punched over and cleared. Now.
So that was a strong attack from McIntyre on the outside pin. What I loved what she did was she reached really high and was over the blocker on that in order to get the ball to the floor.
Good serve that just clips the net, goes low to the back middle, and they somehow get a piece of it. And now here we go, 6-5, St. Joe's trying to add to their lead here. Chloe Smith on the clear, and she finds an opening gap opposite end of the floor.
So they call it out of system for a reason. Someone else other than the setter has to deliver that ball, and to handle that off the net attack and find the floor for a kill, it's a great, great move by her.
Dropping that right in front of Dakota Henry, who was just maybe a step behind. Had an opportunity to get it, but nonetheless on the serve right here, Addison Buckner on the serve for St. Joe's. Strong strike at the net by Ava McIntyre. That's going to be out of play, and that's a much-needed point for Kings as they cut it back to within 1.
So St. Joseph came together after that and went, whoa, that was my mistake, no problem. We're going to move on to the next one. So I love that leadership talk that's happening in the huddle after every play.
Kate Freeman on the serve for the Knights. Groom setting this one up, getting the running start was Chloe Smith, and Chloe Smith trying to defend it up at the top, and I believe that'll be a point for Sydney Barrett.
Yeah, that's a big wall that's in front of Chloe Smith. She did a good job of recycling it back to her team. They just couldn't bring it off the net to handle it. You can see here, she actually used the block on purpose, but it just didn't get pulled off the net enough on that first ball contact.
Sydney Barrett, a lot of size up at the net, 6-foot senior, but even significantly taller with her reach. And now, after St. Joseph's got off to the hot start, now they're unraveling a bit, and now the momentum on the side of the net for Kings.
Number 24, Sydney Barrett. She's doing a great job of blocking and taking up space. You know, the blocker's job is to take up area, but she's getting her hands on those balls and blocking them straight to the floor.
Back and forth we go again. Pretty much dead even contest here in the early goings. If the rest of the afternoon is a reflection of what we've seen in the early going, Jackie, we're in for a treat, that's for sure. On the serve right now, McKenna Reed for the Jaguars. The lefty and Ava McIntyre trying to go from one end of the floor across the court to the other, but out of play. St. Joe's will get the point on the error.
Servers are doing a great job from the service line of hitting seams, trying to get the ball to go between two players, forcing them to communicate. You can see right there, Elise Marshall had trouble with that. And they called St. Joseph in the net. Touching the net must have happened on the block.
I didn't see it, but there also seems to be no argument on the side either.
You're absolutely
so,
right. Yeah.
Usually they never do it, yeah.
Let's take a look. It must have been on the way down. A lot of times that happens with momentum moving forward. You just end up in the net.
Groom setting that one up, and a powerful strike by Claire O'Malley.
Claire O'Malley, she's a middle attacker for St. Joseph that's running a 31. A 31 is a little bit further away from the setter, so that setter-hitter connection, you know, is crucial, and that happens a lot in practice. They have to work on that to make sure that they can be crisp in a game.
Kings trailing by 1, trying to tie it up, and they do. It was a good attempt by Avery Anders, but out of play it goes, and we're tied at 10.
So we keep saying Sydney Barrett's name, Sydney Barrett's name. That set was a little bit far, and she was able to put her thumb down and cut it back cross court. Now she's back on the service line and going to be hopefully wanted to be a threat there, but unfortunately had a service error.
First service error here of the afternoon. So St. Joe's gets the easy point back, and now they'll have an opportunity from service as well. And there you see Hannah Alvarez for the Jaguars dropping back to serve. And one service error brings on another one and basically cancels one another out. We're back to tied at 11.
So these girls are going to the back line and they're bringing it, but when you're in a huge arena, the court feels very small, and so it's common to want to serve the ball long, but they've got to stop these unforced errors.
Tied up at 11. St. Joe's trying to take the lead right back, and Sydney getting a piece of this one, and now coming in to clear it was Ava McIntyre. Castelluccio setting it up for Belle Groom's. Ball still in play. That'll be cleared by Marshall. Right to the middle, ball deflected at the net. Excellent dig and pancake right there, but can't clear it. And St. Joe's gets the point.
The energy is high on St. Joseph's side. They're doing a great job of over-communicating. You can see high fives. Take a look at this replay. Taking the time to find the hitter's hands and make them touch it creates stress for the Kings side.
Good strike right there. That was a lot of power, and that was Elise Marshall, again, our player to watch coming in, but that's a big kill right there and a much-needed point. for the Kings.
And we really haven't said her name a lot, but you can see there that her technique is spot on. She does a great job of finding the blockers, knowing where to send the ball.
Serve just clips the top of the net. That was Andrews getting a piece of it. That was Bell Grooms on the powerful strike, but keeping it alive as Kings. And coming back, I believe that's deflected off the fingertips of the net, and it was, and it's a point for the Kings. They take the lead now, 13-12.
Elise Marchell doing her job of finding the hands and tooling them on that set that was just a little too far outside.
Madison Buckner into the net, and all of a sudden the Kings creating a little space. It's been St. Joe's who's been holding on to the lead. Kings have tied it on a few occasions, but now they've been able and fortunate enough to get a couple-point advantage here in the midway point of set number 1. Alvarez nearly losing balance, having to run up on it was Buckner. Strong strike right there by Grooms, and a good response by St. Joe's.
So St. Joseph having a little bit of chaos happening on their side, but they're doing a good job of getting the ball high. So in chaos, get the ball high, find the court, reset, and do it again.
Set up, getting the running start, and that was Marchell again. Popped high in the air, and here comes on the clears Buckner. Avery Andrews doing a good job of communicating, and the lefty, good block into play up at the front of the net. Ball still active, 14-13 Kings with the advantage. And that ball finds an open space, just barely back by the tape, and 15-13 back up to a 2-point advantage. Keep in mind the interesting thing as we continue to roll along here in the opening set, St. Joe's and their dominant run throughout this tournament, every scene between the sectional, district, and regional, they've won all in 3-set finals. So they really haven't been tested, but they haven't been pressured, if you will. And right now, they find themselves in a very challenging back and forth with Kings here in the early going. Set up, and here comes Ava McIntyre. Good dig from the back row. Avery Andrews calls it out, and on the clear here, number 11, and Chloe Smith. Dakota Henry popping that one up. That hits the top of the net. Strong strike by Marchell, and now another opportunity here for Alvarez. Alvarez hits into the block, and a point for the Kings, or for St. Joe's, my apologies, and we're tied at 15.
Yeah, the ball went off the blocker's hands. Their body wasn't completely turned back towards the middle of the court, so that angle just resulted in the ball going out of bounds off the blocker's hands.
Madison Buckner on the serve and an ace. So the Kings had momentum for about a good 4 or 5 point stretch, and now, as it normally does in a highly contested matchup like this, momentum has shifted back in favor of St. Joe's, and they're trying to build on that here off the Addison Buckner serve. Buckner serve just clips the top of the net. Again, very methodical with her serve, and Avery Andrews going one way, the ball going the opposite, couldn't get to it. We're tied at 16 now.
So Sydney Barrett for Kings, take a look at her attack here. She's right now on the pin, but if the ball would have been dug, she's going to shift into the middle and block in the middle. So she's playing multiple roles, which is a unique situation for volleyball.
Grooms chasing this one down, setting it up. Here comes Alvarez. Alvarez made a couple of big plays over the last couple of back and forths, and St. Joe's takes the lead right back. Take a look at the replay.
So Bell had to run that down, and Alvarez was there. She set it low enough that it became a quick tempo ball.
Alvarez in a very similar situation a few plays ago, hit into the block. And another ace. St. Joe's has now gained full momentum and a 2-point cushion to work with here. We're entering that crunch time portion of the set now.
St. Joe's is putting a lot of tempo on these serves, even starting way far back from the end line so that they can know that they can hit it hard and fast.
Here comes Ava McIntyre. Grooms getting a piece of this one. And Grooms from the middle, too strong on the return, and a much needed break and a point for Kings, back to within 1.
So in volleyball, the team that has the most runs of 3 in a set will end up winning. It's typically how it is. So you want to side out and then stay on that service line 2 more times to create that run of 3.
Good communication by Grooms, and on the clear right there is Chloe Smith. Chasing this one down is Abby Yoder, and coming in hot was Ava McIntyre. Hot tie in the air. Alvarez has had success from that side of the floor. Ball still active. Grooms setting it up, and a strong strike by Claire O'Malley.
Look at the fire from her face. She is getting her team hyped up, pushing them around, a soft pat on the back, whatever my teammate needs, that's exactly what I'm gonna bring in order to get the momentum back on our side.
And a serving error right there for St. Joe's, and that's a huge break for Kings because momentum is all on the side of St. Joe's right now, so that could slow down that momentum. But a big opportunity here, dropping back to serve Sydney Barrett, who's been dominant here in this opening set. She drops back to serve. Getting the dig there in the middle was Buckner, and coming in hot on that far right side was Grooms, who's doing a little bit of it all. Dakota Henry getting a piece of this one. They're gonna have to clear it. Setting it high, Grooms lines that in. There was no chance, Jackie, that Dakota Henry was going to be able to make a play on that. You saw just the smile on her face after, like, yeah, I don't know what else I could have done.
Yeah, she was just saving her face from bleeding
Yes.
on that one.
20-18, St. Joe's with a 2-point cushion. You could tell the urgency's picking up as we're getting to the back end of this set. The crowd very into it, especially on the purple side, and that's going to be a point for St. Joe's, a 3-point cushion now.
So the referee called the setter back row because she jumped and touched the ball above the height of the net. And Abby Yoder is arguing that call because Abby Yoder is front row. So the referee did make the wrong call and has accepted that and has said, let's go ahead and replay it.
First of all, especially in sports, officials always so heavily criticized. I like that in the heat of the moment. For one, the players were respectful in their approach to the official, so that's key. But the official to also have the wherewithal, too, to make a decision and make that, choice that, hey, I made a mistake.
So the legal call is you can't have your hand above the height of the net and attack the ball if you're back row, but because she was front row, it's fair game.
Good block up front, an excellent saving dig there by Anders to keep it going. Groom, strong strike, deflected at the front of the net. Now this is set up by Yoder, and coming in, none other than Sydney Barrett.
Kings is using all hitters from all areas of the court. It's creating almost like 4 dimensions of attacking, and having a back row attack is just gonna create more stress on the blockers, and it's really important that they keep that in the game throughout this match.
St. Joseph's decides to use a timeout. You could tell how tightly contested this is. Either team has yet to be able to go on a run enough to force any coach to feel uncomfortable to put a pause in the action. Smart timeout right here, Jackie. Tied at 20. It's a sprint to the finish line at this point. St. Joe's will have 1 timeout remaining. Kings with both timeouts. It's going to be an interesting finish here, that's for sure.
So when teams are matched up like these two, we're going to see a lot of 20-20 deuces, ties. Yeah. And so now as a coach, you have to make this look a lot smaller. It's just a small game to 5. We got to push and get there as fast as possible.
That was Kate Latkovich, again, the head coach for the Jaguars, who you just saw on the screen. Again, a smart timeout. Coach will have 1 timeout remaining. As I mentioned, 2 timeouts remaining for Amanda Meadows and the Kings Knights. So here we go now. 2 amazing crowds supporting 2 amazing teams coming out of a timeout, and a very entertaining and amazing opening set nonetheless. And here we go now. Going right to your star player. I love that, coming right out of the timeout, establishing dominance, coming out. Belle Grooms, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and a lot of that happened because the middle attacker really sold that 31. So Belle only had 1 blocker in front of her. She's going to win every time in that scenario.
Avery Anders now on the serve. Sent high in the air, and now an opportunity for Elise Marshall again, and here comes Grooms, deflected at the front, getting a piece of that was Henry, and now another opportunity for Marshall. Talked about Grooms, the star player on the purple side of the net. Now on the red side, we're starting to see Marshall get really active here. Nice setup, coming in strong. Hannah 4 Ball still alive. Too strong on the return, out of play, and St. Joe's now. A little bit of breathing room, 22-20. Sprint to the finish line as we talked about.
Defense in volleyball just keeps getting better and better. With the addition of a libero, we've seen athletes that now are specializing in that skill. And so rallies are going to go on longer and longer. You have to be able to land and transition 3 times, just like Marshall did. And you have to be able to dominate on all 3 of those. And unfortunately, she just couldn't hang until that 3rd one.
If you're just joining us, we welcome you here on the NFHS Network. It's our division, it's our game 1 of 2 of a doubleheader out of Division 1 here, semifinal action from the Wright State University Nutter Center. Day 2 of the OHSAA state semifinals. Yesterday out of Division 3, Jackie, we kicked things off with Meadowbrook and McNicholas. McNicholas came out on top to punch their ticket to the D3 championship on Saturday. There you see Amanda Meadows in her 20th season, very experienced, leading the way right now as her team trails by 2. No panic on the face of Coach right there. I think her team's been in some battles all season, and they knew they were going to be in for a fight here today. We'll recap yesterday's semifinals coming up here in just a bit. But coming out of this timeout now, big serve right here for Avery Anders, and a big opportunity for the Kings to put an end to the Jaguars' momentum and run. And a strong strike here. What a block at the front of the net. Good response by the Jags coming out of the timeout.
Yeah, that's a crucial point, and that's a nail biter coming out of a timeout and having to get your serve in, let alone rocket it over. But this is a crucial point for them because, hey, now they're only 2 points away, and an unfortunate serving error by St. Joe's. That's going to shift the momentum back over to Kings. Hey, they've got every right to come back into this.
And a huge break, as you mentioned, Jackie, for Kings, as they haven't been able to establish anything, especially in play. So to get an easy one like that, hopefully they could build on it here. Abby Yoder calling it out, setting out Elise Marshall once again, popping it up, and number 6, and Addison Buckner. Good clear. There was Alvarez in the back waiting for it and setting it up. Good block up front. That's a huge play by Schroederer. And that's back-to-back points. Nice.
Yeah, so St. Joe is saying that Kings touched it, but the ball hit the antenna first. Go ahead and take a look at this replay. She hits the antenna, and even if she did touch it, it's out of bounds, yeah.
She was waving her hand from the very get-go. Opportunity here for Kings to tie it up. St. Joe's trying to set up a set-point opportunity. Popping this one up is Henry.
So we have another out-of-bounds call.
Timeout, yeah.
The referee on the line judge referee is saying that the ball went out of bounds the antenna, which is now going to result in St. Joe's taking a timeout because it absolutely was.
All right, another timeout out on the floor. That'll be the final timeout called on the St. Joseph side by Coach Latkovich. Again, Justin Kinner, Jackie Klein here on the NFHS Network. Timeout out on the floor, tied up at 23. Kings, St. Joseph's going head-to-head here tonight in a close one. All right, we welcome you back in the middle of the action right now. The Jags trying to chase this down in a dangerous situation over there on the other side. But Jackie, what the heck has just happened? It was 23-20 St. Joe's, and you look at the sea of red. For one, I knew what happened. That happened. The sea of red happened. The momentum and the adrenaline and everything happening right now. What an environment here. This is exactly what you want. Set point opportunity. Kings trying to close it out here and take a one-set advantage. This one set up to extend this set, deflected up the front of the net, kept alive, and then Yoder's going to set this up in the middle. Strong strike there by Sydney Barrett, and that's going to do it. The opening set of the Division I semifinals between Kings and St. Joe's belongs to Kings Knights. What an opening set, Jackie. What an opening set.
The Kings just stayed settled. They stuck to their rhythm, and honestly, that misserve that happened at 2022 coming from St. Joseph's was crucial to allowing the Kings to gain the momentum back.
Unbelievable opening set. I can't wait to get rolling in set number 2, and that's what we'll have coming up for you here in just a few moments.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in?
Justin Kinner, Jackie Klein back with you here on the NFHS Network. Division I semifinal action, and we have a heck of a match here today. A one-set advantage. The Kings take set one, 25-23. It was 23-20, Jackie, when you had that serving error that allowed the Kings to all of a sudden go on a 5-0 run. We've seen serving errors on a few occasions throughout the day. What was it about that one that made you say, okay, that, because you called it out right away. When that serving error happened, you said, that's going to be a big-time momentum shifter, and it definitely was.
Yeah, and it's important that you get your serve in after your team has reached 20 points, because the momentum just shifts too quickly, and these athletes are too good at the game. They don't make enough mistakes for you to rely on, I'll get a few points just because they make an error. And when you do that for them, it's just an easy point for them to capitalize on and move forward.
The thing that's interesting about that first set loss for St. Joseph's, they swept Barberton in the sectionals. They swept Brecksville and Wadsworth in districts. Menor and Chagrin Notre Dame Catholic Latin. They took care of business in regional, and then of course losing their opening set here today. So that's the first time, and they've swept everyone. They've dominated everyone, and they're tested here in the early going for obvious reasons. Good block up front, good response. They strike first.
Yeah, I really like number 10, Claire O'Malley. She's the middle attacker for St. Joe's. You can see her, she's just dynamic, and really her motion is dynamic. She lands and is just constantly giving feedback to her teammates of, let's go, let's keep moving forward.
Strike right there. They're trying to see if there was contact, and it was, and that's what you see Elise Marshall looking right over at the official. The Jaguars started celebrating as if it was just a ball hit out of play. Take a look at the replay.
Right, we can see it here in the replay. Usually you're looking for a finger deflection, but she saw it, and also the line judge did. Now in the college world, you can challenge that, but we don't have that technology up and ready for the high school world quite yet. I think we will in the future.
We've seen the power of Belle Grooms all afternoon, and she didn't have to put a whole lot of power behind this one.
Yeah, and when you're coming in hot and always hitting hard and fast, if you can throw in a tip every once in a while, you'll always find the defenders back on their heels.
St. Joe's jumps out to a 2-1 lead here early in set two. What I do enjoy about St. Joe's right now is they're not hanging their head after that opening set loss. They've come out as the aggressors. Getting underneath that one was Marshall. Having to clear it there was Schroederer. And here comes Grooms. There's that power we talked about.
Yeah, what a cut shot, coming back around that ball, aiming for cross court right back, and able to get the hands of number 30, Ava Schroederer from Kings.
Molly Sullivan, seeing her out on the floor for the first time here this afternoon. 3-1 St. Joe's lead. Excellent diving play right there by Avery Anders. I've seen her make a couple diving plays today, and another liner. That was Sydney once again. Just the power has been unmatched all day.
Elise Marshall,
Oh, Marshall,
that
okay.
is her attack. She needs to run this way more often. Watch the slide, she goes off 1 foot. It's the hardest ball to defend in volleyball. And the fact that she was able to deliver that right down the line, it was superb.
Abby Yoder on the serve. Here comes Grooms again and just misplayed that into the net, and that's going to be an easy one for Kings. And just like that, we're back to a tie matchup.
So that's a hitter-setter connection error there. And unfortunately, that's another momentum shifter. She's got to get that one in.
Out of play, and that's going to be another one for Kings, who's slowly starting to build momentum back up. But another reversal. We've seen 2 reversals in calls here today. The last reversal benefited Kings in the opening set. This one benefits St. Joe's.
So they're saying that one of the Kings players touched the ball, and that either happened on the block or it happened on the defender, and the entire Kings team is confused on who actually touched that ball. you know, the ball never lies, so we'll see what happens on this next play.
We say nobody knows, but there's a sea of red over there that believes they know and a sea of purple behind us that believe they know, but that's how it always seems to work. Getting that running start, the power out of play, and that'll be a point for St. Joe's.
Man, Elise has just not been able to connect with, you know, the court. She keeps hitting it out of bounds. I think she needs to start aiming more of her just middle back instead of trying to make that stellar play close to the line.
And Marshall, we sit back and keep waiting for her to get on a little bit of a run, and that's what's been impressive is Kings have been able to go on this run that they've been on without her being at, you know, her best right now. But with one name we haven't called in a while, Sydney Barrett. Sydney Barrett provided a ton of power, especially in that first set. Be interesting to see how they get her involved again coming forward. And now, all of a sudden, St. Joe's starting to roll a little bit, 6-4 now.
Yeah, St. Joe's is showing a little bit more finesse, going in hard, looking like they're going to hit it hard, but then finding the open court with that off-speed tip or roll shot.
And an ace right now. So I know I said this already, but we've seen this few instances throughout the weekend where when you have an opening set that was as tight as that one, the team that drops it usually kind of how they come out is always interesting. The way they've come out, you would think they came out on top in that first set, and their confidence isn't rattled, and that's impressive.
Yeah, I think that they know they've got another chance at this, so they've got to take care of business. Unfortunately, she got a service error there, but she is aiming for Elise Marshall because Elise is passing, and usually your big hitters in the middle aren't involved in serve receive, so they have definitely targeted her on those serves.
7-5, St. Joe's with the lead. Groom sets this one up, and on the return there is Hannah Ford.
So St. Joe's has found the weakness of Kings, and that is they have trouble picking up tips. And so I think they're going to continue to throw those tips until the Kings adjusts. And
that was Addison Buckner on the serve and getting the running start, Dava McIntyre.
She is small but mighty out there. There's a lot of girls around her that are taller than her, but her hop, she's getting up high. She's got a great arm swing, and on that set, she had both options of hitting line or cross, and she chose line.
Yeah, 5'10" sophomore, and you talk about the size. I mean, this is a Kings team that has a lot of height out there on the floor, so when we're saying 5'10" is short, that speaks to the height around her, and a huge ace right there. 8-7 now, the Kings back on a little run. This is, I mean, we're not really deviating from what we saw in that first set. It's just a lot of back and forths, and it was who was hot last, and obviously it was the Kings who went on the final run, but it's been a match of runs, no doubt. Excellent awareness right there, Hannah Ford. How about Hannah Ford? We didn't call her name much in that first set, if at all, but she's made some huge key plays over the last few moments.
Yeah, and then capitalizing on the new game plan of find a corner or a sideline or the campfire area in the middle and throw an off-speed shot.
McKenna Reed in to drop back to serve. 9-7, St. Joe's with the lead. McIntyre on the return for the Kings. Setting that one up was Grooms. Grooms once again pops this up. Coming in is O'Malley, and O'Malley out of play. And the Kings catch a break right there. They cut it back to within one. It's 9-8 now.
Now O'Malley kind of deviated away from that new game plan, and she tried to hit it hard, and you can see it resulted in an error. So she had to, you know, refocus, talk with her teammate, and they're going to change that back to throw in a tip.
Sydney Barrett on the serve. There's Alvarez, strong strike. Excellent dig in the back by Dakota Henry. Grooms the last one to touch it, and a couple strong swings to keep it alive, no good. And just like that, we're tied at 9.
What a great pursuit, though. Just couldn't result that in a kill. You can see there's a dig, and then look how hard she pursues and tries to get that. She's going to have bruises after that one.
All tied up at 9. Sydney on the serve and the serving error. We've seen a few serving errors on the St. Joseph side. We haven't seen many on the Kings side, and that could be a crucial one right there. They give the easy one back to St. Joe's. They lead 10-9. They'll drop back to serve now. Castelluccio on the serve. Sydney calling that one out, and on the return was Freeman. Here comes Alvarez, soft tapper over, getting a piece of it at the top of the net with Sophia Richardson. Here comes Grooms. Grooms, it's blocked. That was a big-time block by Sophia Richardson, a sophomore. She's 6'1". Take a look at the length at the net.
Yeah, they know that the ball is going to go to Grooms. So they come together well. They set the block. They keep wide hands. I mean, they really have a great setup there.
Dakota Henry on the serve, and how about a serving ace? Talked about the serving error. They had a rare one a few moments ago, but they redeemed themselves with that ace right there, and they get the lead right back, 11-10.
So that serve didn't have a lot of height to it, but boy, did it float, and it dropped right in front of St. Joe's passing line.
Kings has a one-set advantage, 25-23 the final in set number 1, and right now has a brief one-point advantage here in set number 2. Hitting into the block, still alive. Groom's going to get another opportunity at it. Excellent dig by Dakota Henry. Ball still alive. Strong strike there by Marshall. Castelluccio setting this one up for Grooms. Grooms pumps it in. Out of play. Point for Kings. It's 12-10 now.
The Kings block is doing a good job of actually releasing. They're leaving early because they know the ball is going to go to Grooms. And Grooms is moving from the outside to the right side and back to the outside again, and they're doing a good job of finding her and making that decision early.
So we have a timeout out on the floor. It's 12-10. Kings with the advantage. They have a one-set advantage on top of that. Division I semifinal action here today, immediately following this matchup between Kings and St. Joe's. We'll have Olentangy Orange and St. Ursula Academy, of course. Historic first set, by the way. With this being the talking about Kings, by the way, Jackie, with this being their first ever state appearance, state semifinal appearance, that also was their very first set win in program history as well.
Yeah, and you know, they have great teams that they play during season. I mean, Cincinnati is just known for having stellar volleyball. And so it's real easy to play against opponents that are going to look similar to St. Joe's to prepare for today.
Both teams, especially as you talked about with Kings, just definitely battle-tested throughout the regular season, battle-tested throughout the grueling tournament, the postseason nonetheless. And now they're being rewarded for it here, playing on a huge stage in a historic tournament appearance here, their first ever. And they have a one-set advantage, a two-point advantage in set 2, and looking to add to that here. Good dig in the back row by Sydney Barrett to keep this one alive, and that's Abby Yoder who clears it. Castelluccio again setting that one up, chasing this one down is Henry, who can't get there in time. And a much-needed point for St. Joe's. It's been a quiet sea of purple behind us. Now we hear them a little bit.
Yeah, but I love how these athletes are pursuing balls. They're giving their 100% effort, and they're actually diving into the cement. And you talked about that there's a lip on the floor. It's about 1.5 inches high, this wood floor above the cement. So they are sacrificing their bodies to keep the ball from hitting the floor.
And doing that, knowing that on some occasions, they know they can't even get to the ball, but it's just the effort in general. But the energy behind us. This is one of my favorite parts of the tournament is, yes, the athletes and what they've gone through, but just the experience for the communities too, to the student section to take it all in as well. There you see Coach Meadows looking on. All tied up at 12 apiece. This one's set up, getting that powerful start. We haven't seen that all match, and we finally saw the power of Elise Marshall.
I know. I wish they would feed her the ball more often. You can see here she's just so high above the net and dynamic.
(13-12) Kings advantage. Castelluccio getting a piece of that one to set it up, and a strong strike by, I believe, Buckner. No, it's out of play regardless, and a 2-point advantage for Kings.
Just back and forth, back and forth. That's the fun part about volleyball, is when it's a side-out game. Usually when there's a huge run, that's when it becomes less interesting to watch.
Castelluccio with a nice setup and a powerful strike. You've commented on O'Malley and just her energy. It's her play, yes, but it's also her energy. Watch her expression after this.
Yeah, she gets up hard and fast, and then she continues to connect with her teammates. She seems to be the energy builder of the team.
Avery Anders now dropping back to serve for the Jags. Strong serve met at the opposite end by Henry. This one set up, they're gonna go right back. So they went back to her, they went back to Marshall, but again, they were anticipating that, and a good awareness up at the net for the Jaguars. Take a look.
They actually blocked her with 3 blockers here. They knew that she was coming inside. So on this next play, I expect her to probably stay on the right side pin.
All right, you called it out and they went right to it. Grooms hitting into the block, out of play, perfect. And St. Joe's gets the point and the lead.
Yeah, so Elise Marshall has to hit on the right side, then bring herself back over to the left side in order to block. And I mean, the ball's just coming real hard and fast, and she just wasn't crisp enough at the net.
Yoder setting this one up. We'll go back to Marshall there on that far right side. Off the net, mistiming it was Avery Anders. That puts an end to the St. Joe's run, and a break right there for Kings, but we're still tied at 15.
So again, these teams need to break the game down into smaller pieces. Trying to get to 21st is the goal by both of these teams.
The block up at the front. Grooms punches it. Still live off the net. Not able to get there in time. And St. Joe's in this back and forth matchup gets the lead right back. So you're going to see Castelluccio step out, and rotating in will be Chloe Smith.
Yeah, they're just batting at it. You know, even with open hands, you need to close your hand and get it nice and high to slow the ball down. You never want to create more chaos in chaos.
Yoder setting it up for the swooping Sydney Barrett. Sydney Barrett, I mentioned her a little bit ago. She was very active in establishing the momentum early in set 1. She's been doing a lot of little things that haven't had like the big plays, but right there finally able to get involved, and you could just see how the team feeds off of her big energy plays like that one.
Yeah, she had 11 total attempts in the first set. She had 8 kills and was hitting over 600, so they do need to get her involved again.
Yoder setting it up in the middle, and there she is, Elise Marshall. So, Jackie, when you get Sydney Barrett rolling and Elise Marshall rolling, now they become almost impossible to stop. In back-to-back plays, they're 2 power hitters making big plays.
Yeah, and Elise Marshall is in the back row right now, and so feeding her the ball back there adds, again, that different dimension of an offense.
For Belle Grooms here to try and make a play. She's going to chase this down to set it up, and coming in is Chloe Smith. Chloe Smith has her shot blocked at the front. Grooms again going to go this time to the opposite, and that's Buckner on the return. That's out of play, and a big break for St. Joe's.
Back and forth, back and forth. They've got to clean it up, and they've got to keep the tempo fast. So lowering the passes, getting the ball to the hitters quicker, and that's going to make it harder to defend.
Molly Sullivan rotates out, and coming in is Hannah Alvarez, and a hitting or an error right there, of course, leads to a point for the Kings and gives them an easy one.
Yeah, so they have to respond right away. Both sides have to respond. Kings needs to take advantage of that service error, but St. Joe's has to keep their composure. They struggled in the last set to keep their composure after a missed serve late in the set.
That's that power we've been looking for on the side of St. Joe's. Chloe Smith. We've seen St. Joe's get a lot of points off of either aces and just mistakes from Kings, but it's been a while since we've seen them make a big power play like that, and that's going to be what they need to kind of get that momentum back on their side.
Yeah, she did a great job of clearing the block, but truthfully, the middle did a great job of holding the block. There was a major hole for her, so she was one-on-one.
Grooms clears that one. Out of play. So Kings gets that one right back.
This is a crucial point for Kings. If they can get to 21st, psychologically, that just does something to volleyball players when they're at 20. they feel more powerful. The momentum has shifted their way, and unfortunately, she misses her serve on that crucial point.
So we have had in sets 1 and so far through this portion of set 2, Jackie, 25 ties and 10 lead changes.
Wow.
25 ties and 10 lead changes. That, of course, serving error led to the 25th tie here of the afternoon. Oh, she wanted that one. Elise Marshall, a powerful first strike, had it returned. Her eyes got about as big as the ocean, and she just mistimed it. Another error right there, gives it back to St. Joe's. On the serve. That was Sophia Richardson. Trying to get that one clear, good communication. That's popped high in the air by Dakota Henry. And now here comes Richardson once again. Alvarez had her shot returned. She's able to make a play off of that as well. Popping this high in the air is Dakota Henry. Now coming in from the back middle, Sydney Barrett again. And we're tied at 20, the 26th tie of the afternoon.
It was like a sneak attack. Nobody knew it was coming. And she just clipped the line. I mean, if this was college, somebody would be challenging that one, but it was very close.
Tied up at 20. Dakota Henry on the serve. Henry calls this one out, pops it up, and this one's set up, of course, by Yoder. On the return there was by Marshall. That was O'Malley. Another setup, and that's again coming from the back row with Sydney Barrett. Sydney Barrett's been very fun to watch here today. And there's Marshall, an excellent dig by Anders, saving this back and forth. That's a big time play right there by Belle Grooms.
They say that defense wins championships, and St. Joe's defense is doing a great job of digging these hard hit balls that are in the middle of the court.
So now we'll see Hannah Alvarez, 5'7" senior, one of many talented seniors on the floor right now on the serve. Cross-court setup, getting that full running start. That's going to be right off the arms of Alvarez, and that's a big-time kill for Elise Marshall, and that ties it up at 21 apiece.
She needed that. She needed that confidence. And she's going back to the outside here, so we're going to see that they're going to deliver it to her again. She needs to keep hitting it middle back towards Alvarez.
Grooms punches it in. In our pregame, we highlighted Belle Grooms on the side of St. Joe's and Elise Marshall on the side of the Knights. And it's not a coincidence that in the clutch moments of this match right now, here in set 2, it's been the two star players going back and forth. It's not a surprise.
And matched up against each other. They're hitting and blocking against each other almost every play.
Good job there by Sydney Barrett to get a piece of this one. And coming in hot at the net was Ava McIntyre, but it was the defense at the net. You just talked about it a little bit ago. St. Joe's has been very impressive. They jump out to a 2-point advantage. This is the point of the last set. They were up 23-21. They had the serving error, or 23-20. Then the serving error, and Kings went on that 5-0 run to close it out to take the opening set. We'll see if St. Joe's learned from their mistakes in that opening set to tie this one up. All right, we'll step away for a few moments. We'll have the rest of this very entertaining matchup here today. St. Joe's 23, Kings 21. We'll be right back. (23-21) St. Joe's desperately trying to hold on to this lead. You can just hear and see the urgency of the student section for St. Joseph's. You have a sea and a wall of red across from where Jackie and I are sitting right now, all in support of the Kings Knights, who have a one-set advantage, but they were down 23-20 in the first set, but it was a serving error by St. Joe's that led to that run. No serving error here, though. This one's set up by Yoder, coming in hot. They're going right back to Marshall. Alvarez pops this one up to keep it alive. Grooms clears it. Big opportunity here. Yoder setting it up. Coming in is McIntyre. McIntyre into the block, cutting it back to within one. 23-22. A chance to tie it here. We've seen quite a few ties, 27 ties to be exact here today. The 28th tie would be crucial. What a play right here.
Yeah, it was a smart play because everybody thought the ball was going to go outside to Marshall. So the fact that they went back again has definitely shifted the momentum. This gym is on fire. I just love this energy.
You've played at the highest of levels as well, Jackie. You know what these crowds can do. Not taken away from the talent on the floor, but how much of an impact is that wall of red across from us, the faithful that have showed up to support Kings? How much of an impact is that making right now on this? Because it's been even both sets so far, but I don't think it's a coincidence that in the clutch moments of these sets that it's been Kings who's been able to kind of pull away late, feeding off that energy.
When your crowd is the one that is louder than the other crowd, it makes you way more comfortable, that's for sure. It does require you to over-communicate with your teammates a little bit more, make eye contact, make sure you know what's going on. But to have the support of your community here, it definitely feels good.
Of course, one thing that's very unique about this Kings team is that they are the first public school to make it to the state semifinal since '94.
Wow.
So that's a very unique thing that popped across right here, and you could tell with this their first ever state appearance. Again, the entire community out here in support. Nonetheless, all tied up at 23. 28 ties, 11 lead changes. On the serve right there was Marshall again. And that was Castelluccio who got a piece of it, but it wasn't enough. And Jackie, this is back-to-back sets where St. Joe's had a multiple-point lead, just needing 2 more points to close it out, and Kings have come back very similar last time. Set point opportunity here. Kings trying to take a 2-set advantage over St. Joe's, and that was Marshall on the serve. Castelluccio setting up Grooms, going to their star player, and Grooms stepping up big when they needed it most. We're tied up at 24 here in set 2.
So I talk about this a lot with my teams when I coach, is this is deuce, just like in tennis, and you need to get the advantage. So by getting the point right now, you will have the advantage and the other team will have to score 3 points in order to win.
Big opportunity right here. How about that? Hannah 4. We didn't call her name hardly at all, if at all, in set 1. And 4 with the big strike right here.
Yeah, those overpasses, when a middle blocker sees an overpass coming, they start drooling. It becomes, they just get so excited, and that high snap delivers the ball to the floor fast.
4, that is her 4th, I mean, it's no pun intended, but 4 has 4 kills. That was her 4th kill right there, and that could have been right there the biggest kill of the afternoon.
And it's funny, she is signed to play collegiate volleyball for Texas Christian, but on the beach. She's going to play beach there. She has a 4.1 hitting percentage on the season, and we haven't seen her get set enough today. She seems to be a very solid player for the team, and it was a great point for her to come and get involved.
All right, so coming out of this timeout, we've had the opportunity to see how St. Joe's responds in situations like this, facing a set point opportunity. Now we get a chance to see how Kings is going to respond. They trail 25-24 coming out of the timeout. Bell Grooms dropping back to serve for the Jaguars. Jags trying to tie this up at a set apiece. Both crowds on their feet. You could feel the anxiety and the intensity here in the Nutter Center. Yoder setting this one up, and that's McIntyre coming in. An excellent diving play by Smith. Sent high in the air. Out of system right there, trying to get back in place. Cross-court set up. That's Sydney coming in hot. Sydney Barrett tying it back up at 25.
So it's 25-25, no timeouts left. And it seems to be key player of the game against key player of the game. They just keep hitting the ball at each other, receiving the ball, serving the ball at each other, and they just keep sharing these points back and forth.
Kate Freeman for the Knights, dropping back to serve. Man, the pressure that both of these teams are facing right now. Getting a piece of that one, of course, was Buckner. Setting up high, going right at Chloe Smith. Chloe Smith giving the Jaguars the lead right back.
Great cross-court shot. She has a great topspin on the ball, which makes it drop, and it's so hard to dig when that ball falls forward like that.
Addison Buckner, the 5'8 sophomore, on the serve right now for the Jags. A set point opportunity, 26-25. Trying to keep it alive. They're going to go back to Sydney. Sydney hits into the block and it drops into play. Hannah Four. Hannah Four has made so many clutch plays down the stretch, and Hannah Four allows St. Joseph's to tie it up at a set apiece. Unbelievable. And we're not done yet. In fact, we have at least 2 more sets to go.
I love matches like this that are back and forth, side-out games. It's going to be a fun few sets to go.
All right, excellent stuff. The Kings Knights, they took the first set. St. Joe's in dramatic fashion takes set number 2. Who's going to pull away and take a 2-set-to-1 advantage? We'll find out. Third set coming up next.
Looking for
He's going to take it himself.
What an entertaining game 1 of our Division I semifinals between, of course, St. Joe's and Kings here this afternoon. Justin Kinner, Jackie Klein back with you here, moments away from set number 3 getting underway. But you and I were talking during the break, Jackie, when you look at the range and the hitting percentages, especially on the St. Joe's side, it's pretty impressive, the balanced attack that they have had here this afternoon.
Yeah, so St. Joe's has 4 hitters that are pretty darn near close or over hitting 300. Claire O'Malley hitting 364, Chloe Smith hitting 333, Hannah Four hitting 273, and Belle Grooms hitting 333. That's telling you that they are spreading out their offense and they're not making errors. Now, if you look over on the Kings side, Sydney Barrett has a hitting percentage of 562, but didn't get set the ball very much last set. So they need to get her back involved, which will, if they can spread out their hitters and get the ball to more people, I think it's also going to allow Elise Marshall to be more effective when she gets the ball.
Avery Anders, 12 digs here through the first 2 sets. Abby Yoder with 24 assists, just highlighting some other key stats popping off the box score right now. But set number 3 officially underway. And they're going to go right back to Grooms, and Grooms has her shot blocked, returned, and Kings strikes first. So Kings jumped out to that opening set advantage. And take a look at this replay here again. It's Castelluccio again who tried to keep that alive. But it was fascinating watching how St. Joe's responded after dropping that opening set. Kings jumps out to a 1-0. I know we're tied at 1 apiece now in this third set, but the way both teams, the confidence, and you could just tell the coaching, that both teams really aren't rattled. Like, you would think that right now Kings would look rattled. They don't look rattled. They know, hey, we had house money to play with. We're tied at 1 apiece now. This is going to be a very intense third set, as if the first 2 haven't been intense as it is.
Yeah, but they're too quiet. St. Joe's is owning the momentum right now. But with a kill just like that, it might shift their way.
2-1 Kings. They're quiet, and you could tell the nerves. You know, we talk about the significance of this being their first ever state appearance. Parents are into it, the fans are into it, but you see a lot of sitting parents with hands on their faces. Like, they're nervous too. They're as nervous as the players right now.
You're right.
Good setup, good dig there by Avery Anders. This time they're going to go back cross court. That's Buckner. Yoder setting it up right there in the middle, in the back, and that was talked about setting up Sydney Barrett. They tried there in that play, but nonetheless, Kings going to get credit for that point. 3-1 lead.
Kings, they're a threat, but on the blocking line, they're doing a good job of reading the set. It's important as a blocker that you study the setter as long as possible to make sure you don't guess and go the wrong way, and they're doing that very well.
Castelluccio setting it up for Grooms. Grooms shot on the opposite side for Kings still alive. That return just clips the top of the net, met by Anders. Here comes Grooms again. Grooms out of play. And Kings, really, they've capitalized. Of the 4 points on the board, 2 of those have come just off of some mistakes made on the side of the Jaguars. So they'll take the points any way they can get them.
Yeah, it's important not to be fancy right now. Just keep the ball in, get the momentum, get a few runs under you, and then start speeding it up.
And another point on the board for the Kings, again, that's coming off of a St. Joe's mistake. 4-1 now. And a hitting error right now gives one of those back. So they have fixed it. It's 5-2 now. I thought I was losing my mind for a moment. I'm like, I swear I calculated 4-1, but nonetheless, so 5-2. Avery Anders on the side of the Jaguars, dropping back to serve. Henry getting a piece of this one. Yoder setting it up, and here comes Marshall.
This is just a blocking game today. Block after block after block. These blockers are reading the set well, pushing back towards the middle of the court. Great job by both teams blocking today.
The serve continues. Anders gets the ace. And it was Marshall and Sydney Barrett. Just a little of both trying to kind of eye it and follow it to the back line. But again, a little miscommunication there. They watched it go out. They were up 5-1. It's now 5-4. A little mini 3-0 run by St. Joe's has this back to within one. And the serve for Anders continues. Anders makes contact. Sydney getting a piece of this one and calling it out as Henry, who pops it up. And Marshall going to clear it here. Anders gets underneath. Castelluccio sets this one up. And that was Hannah Four, who had an amazing finish to that second set to tie it up, and Four on the return on this one. Yoder pops it up. Here comes McIntyre. Castelluccio getting underneath this one. Here comes Grooms. Grooms lines it in. Excellent dig by McIntyre. And now another opportunity for Marshall, and that's going to be out of play. So we talked about Marshall at the beginning. They continue to feed her, and at times it's almost looking like she's, I don't say fatigued, but at times looking a little tired. She's not getting as high on some of these hits as she was early on, but
she's just not as consistent as I think she wants to be, and she's aiming wide, which is great. It's just too wide, and so she's got to dial that back in with a little bit more wrist snap. She doesn't have enough spin on the ball.
St. Joe's was down 5-1. They now lead 6-5, and Avery Anders has gotten pretty comfortable left side on the serve. And that's going to be another ace. That's her second ace of this run alone. 5-1, now 7-5. St. Joe's, after tying it up in set two, they have established all the momentum as we are underway here in set number 3. And this is as out of sync as we've seen them. Nonetheless, two talented teams. We talked about our players to watch at the beginning, but man, you don't get this far unless you have a lot of talent on both sides of the net. Not only are these two talented teams here at the high school level, but Jackie, there's going to be a lot of players that are going to go play collegiately the way you were able to play collegiately during your playing days as well.
Yeah, so over with St. Joe's, Belle Grooms is committed to play for the University of San Diego. Hannah Four, we talked about how she's going to go play sand for Texas Christian. Avery Anders is committed to play for Bowling Green. Now, if we flip over to Kings, you can see here that Elise Marshall, she's committed to go to App State. Sydney Barrett is going to University of Dayton. Abby Yoder is going to Ohio State. Dakota Henry is going to Rhode Island. So these athletes, not even in school, but they're making impacts in the club world and are going to make impacts in the collegiate world here soon.
Dakota Henry going to Rhode Island, and you talked about Sydney Barrett going to Dayton. They'll be teammates right now, but they'll be going up against one another pretty regularly in A-10 play. This one sent high in the air. Cleared nonetheless, and a lot of things going right for the Jags, who just seem to clean up a lot of their mistakes from early on. On the return there was Buckner. Yoder with the dump right there, and that's big time because the Kings desperately needed, whether it was Marshall, whether it was Sydney Barrett, whether it was McIntyre, they needed someone to make a play.
That's the first time that she's thrown a dump when she's front row like that, and I think she needs to do it more. She needs to be offensive so it keeps the defense on St. Joe's side on their toes. 7-6
now. Castelluccio setting it up. Grooms. We've seen her hit hard all day. I don't think I've seen her swing as hard as she did on that one.
Yeah, she was just praying that that speed coming off her hand was just going to create chaos, and it did, creating that tool. It's called a wipe when you hit it and then swipe it off, and it goes off the hitter or blocker's hands out of bounds.
Sent high in the air, and now here comes Marshall once again. Grooms calling it out, sets it up, and You have a streaking Buckner right there, but the whistle blows, and that'll be a much-needed point for the Kings, who cut it back to within 1 now.
So there's been a lot of communication in the referee world about ball handling errors. So they are calling less and less ball handling errors, which means double contact specifically. Unfortunately, that one was very clear that she double contacted that ball, but they usually are letting most of those go now.
And the serving error in a match, in a set right now where the Kings have yet to establish any kind of momentum, the fact that they were within 1, you hate to see those type of errors that give easy ones to St. Joe's, who's really been very versatile of how they put points up on the board here today. And here comes Sydney Barrett. Sydney Barrett finding that back right exposed corner, and she's putting the Kings back up on the board.
Yeah, I would have to say that Sydney Barrett is on fire and needs to get the ball more often. So she is just connecting well with the ball and has good vision of the court. She has very good volleyball IQ. If the hard hit isn't there, she knows to throw the tip or roll shot.
Grooms going for a dump play of her own. On the return there was Richardson. Anders chasing it down, and a good block up front by Richardson. Richardson and Sydney Barrett, I believe. Yeah,
Sydney Barrett was there. Her hands were completely over the net. This is an off-speed shot, and she doesn't even let it clear the tape.
So just like that, we're tied at 9. A couple big plays by Sydney Barrett, and the next thing you know, momentum slightly back in favor of the Kings, and we're tied at 9, and now it feels like a new type of matchup. And coming in with a strong strike, Hannah Four, who's made so many clutch plays over the last couple of sets, makes a mistake right there, and now all of a sudden you look up and the Kings, who looked like they were about to look at a significant downfall here against St. Joe's, they have the lead once more. Freeman on the serve, and the serving error.
Because of an unfortunate service error there. I think all service errors are unfortunate, but if you're going to miss a serve, you need to miss it long and deep, not short in the net.
So that was the 9th serving error of the afternoon for Kings. We've seen 6 serving errors on the side of the Jaguars. Here comes Alvarez, who had to be very creative with that angle there. Good diving play to keep this one alive. Alvarez out of position there again. And that's a point for the Kings, who take the lead right back.
Yeah, both of those sets were pushed way too far. She only has one option at that point, and that is cross, and it honestly had to be very cross for her to get that over.
Ava McIntyre on the serve. And it's going to be a point for the Kings. I think if you're the Kings right now, and this is no insult to them, I don't think they've played extremely well this set. So you look up and you're like, they have a 2-point advantage right now. I think that just speaks to the, how situational plays that they've made have kind of kept them in this nonetheless. But a big set again. Alvarez coming in with some power and chasing that one down to Sydney Barrett to get a piece of it. Yoder popping it up from the back row. And getting a piece of that was Buckner. Cross-court set up to Alvarez, hits into the block. That's off the hands of Richardson. Point for St. Joseph's. Back to a 1-point ball game.
St. Joe's is doing a good job of being prepped and ready. They're getting to their base quick. They're reading the set so that they can make their defensive moves fast. And by digging those balls at a lower tempo, they're able to deliver it to a hitter faster, which just makes it harder to defend.
Castelluccio on the serve. Here comes Richardson again. Richardson has made some big plays. She's arguing that that was still in play, or at least contact was made, but nonetheless, we're tied at 12.
Look at it. Maybe our angle will show us if it was in or out.
Or if maybe she thought there was some contact at the net, but nonetheless, wasn't a bad angle on the review right there, so I think it was the right call. Cross-court hit, out of play. Kings had a 12-10 lead, and within a blink of an eye, it's St. Joe's 13-12, another 3-0 run. You talked about those runs of 3. St. Joe's has definitely won that department here in the 3rd set.
Yeah, they're playing really clean right now, taking care of business, and everybody's doing their own job, which just makes the team environment way more fun.
How about O'Malley? Ball still alive. I try to put an end to that, and we're still off and rolling here. Good setup by Yoder. Back to Richardson. Richardson missed the last one, frustrated with the call. She doesn't keep her head down, and she steps up and makes a big play right there to tie it up at 13.
She becomes available off of the transition. She says, take that.
13 all. Sydney Barrett holding the serve down right now for the Kings. Leaping serve, that's met on the other end by Grooms. Set up, Grooms coming in. Punches that right off the arms of Ava McIntyre, and that gives St. Joe's the lead right back.
These young ladies have heavy arms. This ball is coming hard and fast at these defenders. If you're not pursuing with your shoulders forward and you have any of your momentum back, it becomes impossible to dig.
Molly Sullivan for the Jaguars into serve, and that was Marshall on the return. 14-13, St. Joe's make that 15-13, St. Joe's.
Great in-system play. O'Malley transitions hard and fast. Take a look here. You can see she's screaming all the way up. No blocker in front of her. Great kill.
Addison Buckner on the return. Yoder chasing this one down and setting it up from the back row. Hoots into the block, and that's going to be another one for St. Joe's. Unbelievable. 13-11, now 16-13, and a significant run here by St. Joe's. Another 3-point run, Jackie, as we mentioned earlier. Both teams, the Kings have already used a timeout, and I think right now Coach Meadows is trying to allow her team to kind of play through this little deficit here, but that's going to be a crucial point right there, and that's Elise Marshall again stepping up and making the big play when it mattered most.
She even landed and gave the St. Joe's fans a dirty look. They must have said something to her that made her say, bring the fire.
Off and rolling, 16-14 St. Joe's, and O'Malley. There's that energy, there's that passion, there's that fire. There's that energy, 17-14, St. Joe's with the lead. Take a look.
Yes, the Kings tried to get 2 blockers in front of her, but they didn't set it quite right. They needed to be more to the left. That made it an easy kill for her.
Marshall getting a piece of this one, setting it up back into the middle for Marshall once again. This one sent high in the air. Castelluccio popping it up, and on the return was Buckner. Out of play, too strong, and a break right there for King, 17-15. These sets are moving fast. It's definitely a fast-paced matchup here today. Really, the tempo's been the same from the beginning of set 1 to now. It's just been the momentum that's shifted from one side to the other. Anders getting a piece of this one. Castelluccio setting that one up for Grooms. Grooms confident that this is going to be a Jaguars point, but the official says no, 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 no. And it's a 1-point game, 17-16.
And these officials are very good at what they do, and the up ref will go to the line judges for their opinion, and if they say no touch, then she says, okay.
I love that play right there. Again, just taking advantage of the situation. McIntyre with the huge play. Take a look. She knew what she was doing before her feet even left the ground. She saw something she liked and went for it.
Oh, yeah.
And that leads to a timeout. Jackie, every time it looks like St. Joe's is about to pull away and just make quick work of this, the Kings find a way. They grit their way through this, and we're tied at 17 now.
Yeah, the Kings are not passing as well as they need to, but boy, their block looks good, and if they can get a little bit more consistent on the pass, then they're in this all the way to the end.
Speaking of all the way to the end, we'll be right back in a moment and take you all the way to the end. 17-all, we'll be right back. $17-all in one set apiece as we are all tied up here in set number 3. This is about, we've had a lot of great matches yesterday afternoon, but I haven't seen anything as tightly. I mean, we've been doing this for a few years, and I'm sure I've had been on the call for good matches, but none as entertaining as this one. These are 2 evenly matched teams, Jackie, and it's been the same from the first set to now. Really, no team has been able to pull away from the other. Here comes McIntyre, who's made a couple big plays. Good block up at the front by 4. There's something about 4 where we don't really call her name early in sets, but man, there's something about in these clutch moments. She steps up and makes big play after big play.
She does. She makes the big plays at important times. She's just a solid player doing her role. But when that overpass comes or it's a blocking opportunity, she sticks to her fundamentals, and the follow-through is a point for the team.
Dakota Henry calling that one out, popping it up, and on the clear there was Marshall. Big opportunity here. And that's McIntyre on the return. Bobbled around a little bit. Chloe Smith clears it. Yoder sets it up, cross court. Here comes Marshall. Getting a piece of that one, of course, was Sullivan. Another opportunity here for Smith. Smith, another opportunity, sends it back. That's going to be off the hands of Yoder. And that's going to be a point for the Kings.
So they're calling a double contact. And I believe the double contact was on Chloe Smith.
And right now the leader for St. Joseph's, Belle Grooms, going over to get an explanation to take back to her coach.
I couldn't hear the discussion between Grooms and the head referee.
You know what I like about...
Let's take a look at it here. I think... Here we go. So we've got her blocking the ball.
Very strange.
I'm not sure what happened, but I do believe it was on Chloe Smith.
And just like we've seen a trend late in these sets where St. Joseph unravels a little bit. Now, to their credit, Jackie, they unraveled late in the second set before they came roaring back and closing out Kings to tie it up. We'll see if Kings can hold off St. Joe's. And setting it up in the middle. Good play up front at the net. Sent high in the air by Anders, and another hard opportunity there for Buckner. Grooms setting it up. They've continued to feed Chloe Smith on that side. Smith, we haven't seen a lot of, facial expressions or energy outside of her hard play tonight, but I think after that last call, she was coming in hot with this one.
Oh yeah, she wanted revenge on that. Whatever happened, she said that we're gonna get this back right now.
No doubt about that. Again, heading into the block, and St. Joe's gets the lead right back. Dropping back to serve now is Addison Buckner, the 5'8" sophomore. Just clips the top of the net, and now Yoder going to set it up behind her. Here comes McIntyre, loves that side of the floor, right off the hands of Buckner. Ball still live. Here comes Alvarez. Alvarez hits it, a near collision in the back row. Yoder pops it up, and here comes Sydney Barrett, and out of play. Sydney Barrett, we've called her name a lot tonight, and she has been absolutely fantastic, and a huge play right there, a much-needed one at that.
She's on fire. They need to keep dishing her the rock, because the more she gets the ball, the more they're going to score or at least create stress over on the side of St. Joe.
37 ties, 13 lead changes. This has been a lot of fun, and on the serve right there was Kate Freeman. Setting it up, they're going to go to Alvarez. Alvarez lines it in. Good dig from the back row to keep it up. Yoder pops it up, sets it up behind her. Here comes McIntyre. Good dig from the back row to keep that one going as well. That's Buckner. Good play at the front of the net. Getting a piece of that was Grooms. Punching it in, and none other than Sydney Barrett.
She is just the foundation for her team. She really hasn't had any errors. She just continues to do her job and take care of business.
Kate Freeman, her serve continues, 21-20. Kings takes the lead late. Anders gets a piece of this one, setting that one up, of course, was Grooms to Alvarez. Alvarez, what I love is Alvarez, a couple things didn't go her way in a previous couple plays, but you just don't see that frustration on her face. I love that about both teams. There's been moments where I'm like, oh, you're going to start to see frustration take over. They're just well-coached teams that have been battle-tested. You could tell that they've been in big situations before, but the thing that's interesting for Kings, they've never been in this situation. Tied up, a set apiece, and tied up at 21 all here in set number 3. And here she comes again, and that is Sydney Barrett. But this time, Jackie, a little bit too much Sydney Barrett out of play.
Right. She was trying to go right at the neck of the defender in middle back, and unfortunately she got out of the way a little too quick.
St. Joseph's trying to add to the lead here. Marshall getting a piece of this one. Yoder setting it up. McIntyre with the soft return. Good diving play right there to keep that one alive. That was McKenna Reed. Marshall getting it from a piece in the back row. And here goes McIntyre again, deflected at the front of the net by O'Malley. Popped up by Grooms. Alvarez caught on the back row by Marshall again. This time set up. McIntyre again, the lefty, getting that full wind up. Grooms setting it up for O'Malley in the middle, right off the hands of Henry. And And it's O'Malley once again who just continues to make these big Energizer plays.
She really is the Energizer Bunny for her team, and she is celebrating not only her success, but when her teammate does something great. Absolutely, I love that energy.
So this is the third straight set, Jackie, where St. Joe's has led 23-21. And this could potentially be the third straight set where the Kings come out of a timeout and make a run to take the lead and then make everyone really uncomfortable in the arena right now. So bottom line is there's a lot of anxious parents and fans in red, a lot of excited fans in purple behind us, and a lot of anticipating individuals like us as we're just excited to see what happens coming out of this timeout.
Both teams hold their composure very well. They definitely focus at the task in hand. I do wish that the Kings fans would get on their feet, and it looks like they're about to do that and just erupt for their team to see if they can get this point, because this is a crucial moment in this set.
Coach Amanda Meadows looking on. I like the composure of Coach Meadows as well. She was laughing, smiling, and hopefully the players feed off of that, because they could be tense and tight right now, down 2 in the state semifinal matchup. Big play coming out here, the timeout. McKenna Reed on the serve. And that was Marshall getting a piece of this one. Set up opposite end. Sydney Barrett coming in hot right out of the timeout. We talked about that sea of red across from us getting on their feet and being loud. Well, no one had to force them. She put them in position to do it. Another big play by Sydney. Sydney Barrett, big play after big play here today. Ava McIntyre on the serve. Good diving play by Grooms to keep that alive. Alvarez has to clear it. Yoder going to set it up behind her for a... Pipes that one in. Chloe Smith. We've called the names of Belle Grooms. We've called the name of Claire O'Malley. We've obviously seen a lot of Alvarez, but man, when backs are against the wall, it's been Chloe Smith who's made quite a few clutch plays tonight. A set point opportunity. Here we go.
Yeah, St. Joe's has 2 opportunities here to score to win this match. I expect this ball to head out to Barrett, as you can see. And they called it in, is inbounds.
Barrett extends this set. 24-23, St. Joe's gripping on. And again, Belle Grooms, the team leader, going to get another explanation. We knew it was going to be a close call. All right, here we go now. Kings trying to tie this one up here at 24-all. But if St. Joe's scores, they take a 2-0 advantage. Alvarez having to chase this one down, and sweeping in is Grooms. Grooms too strong on the return, out of play. And Jackie, to no one's surprise, we are tied up at 24.
We are back at deuce. Which team is going to get the advantage here? A timeout, but Sydney Barrett on the service line.
All right, we're all tied up at 1 set apiece, and we're all tied up at 24-all here in set number 3. You're watching the OHSAA State Volleyball Championships Division I semifinals. The Kings Knights, St. Joseph's Academy. We'll be right back.
Looking for future leaders?
24-24, tied up here in the third set, but we're also tied up at a set apiece, Jackie, and so many nerves coming out of this timeout. And Sydney Barrett, who has just been unstoppable today, she'll hold serve for the Kings. And the officials right now kind of meeting at the net now just to get some clarification on some things. You know, one thing I really like, Jackie, is the fact that every time Belle Grooms for St. Joe's has come over to inquire about a call that obviously has gone against them, she has great composure. She's not there to challenge the official or to show the official up. And there's a lot to be said about that, because some people, it's hard to handle your emotions in high leverage situations like this.
You're right.
Sydney Barrett on the serve, 24-all, coming out of the timeout. And here we go. They're going to go right back to O'Malley. And O'Malley setting up a set point opportunity for St. Joe's.
Absolutely love her. She hits her teammates' hands so hard, too. They probably look at her and say, hey, can you dial that back? What a great hit.
All right, here we go. A set point opportunity, and Molly Sullivan will do the honors, the 5'4" sophomore. Sullivan on the serve. The Kings trying to extend this. Yoder pops it up cross court, and here comes Marshall. And that's going to drop, and the star player for the Kings extending this set. We're all tied up at 25. (25-25), and now dropping back to serve will be Dakota Henry, the libero, the 5'6" senior. Clutch moment here. Getting a piece of that was Anders. Setting it up. Here comes number 6, and Buckner. And Buckner gives the St. Joseph's Jaguars the lead right back.
It's hard to tell which team has the most energy because they are both just trading that back and forth. I love how these teams transition hard and are coming in for big swings every time. They are never taking anything off.
How about that? St. Joe's had an opportunity there, a set point opportunity, and there you see Coach Latkovich again kind of looking on, trying to calm the nerves. Jackie, I was just about to say that a few moments ago, how we've seen some serving errors today, but in the clutch moments, it's been very clean. Unfortunate right there that one pops up, but we're all tied up at 26. It's set up, and here comes Grooms. Grooms.
Oh.
Man,
Ball
a huge
hit
break.
just long.
And now the sea of red, they can have a huge impact on the result of this set point opportunity coming up for the Kings Knights. On the serve right there is Abby Yoder. Yoder's serve met on the other end, being chased down by Buckner. Grooms going to clear it, get back into rotation. Yoder setting it up, and here comes Marshall. Excellent dig by Anders. Now it's set up, coming in, the lefty. Grooms punches it in, and we're tied at 27.
So there is no cap. This could go on for a very long time if they want it to, but I don't think that they do. So the advantage being in St. Joseph's lap, and Grooms back to serve. Let's see if she can take care of business right off the bat here.
Grooms, the lefty serve. Volleyed around, and that gives St. Joe's the 28-27 lead. How about the ace for the star player? All right, Belle Grooms dropping back now. A set point opportunity, 28-27. St. Joseph the lead, trying to take a 2-1 advantage. Yoder going to chase this one down. Good communication out on the floor. McIntyre has her shot at the net deflected. Ball still live. Set up. The streaking number 6 and Buckner coming in hot. Ball still live. Another opportunity for Marshall. Grooms gets a piece of it. Anders pops it up, and now here comes number 11 and Smith. And Smith punches it in, and St. Joseph's takes a 2-1 advantage. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. The Kings Knights took the first set in dramatic fashion. St. Joe's had to fight and scratch and claw to tie it up at one set apiece, and it was the same thing here in the third set. 29-27 the final after 3 sets. A 2-1 advantage for the Jaguars. Can the Jaguars punch their ticket back to the state finals for the first time since 2017, or can the Kings tie it up to force a 5th set? We'll be right back. This exciting matchup continues. We've talked about it through this afternoon, Jackie, that St. Joseph's been dominant all season. I mean, you have to be dominant to get to this point of the season, no doubt, but they've been dominant all tournament long. And this is their first 4th set of the postseason. Only the 5th time this year that they have had to play outside of a 3rd set. And I mentioned that a little bit ago, their dominating streak throughout the postseason. And obviously, this is what you expect, though, when you get to the semifinals and potential finals. It's the best of the best going head-to-head, and my goodness, no doubt about it, what an afternoon thus far.
Yeah, we just keep trading points back and forth. They do a great job of siding out and handling these serves that are coming at them hard and fast. You know, looking at St. Joe's, you know, even in-season schedule, they've already played Toledo St. Ursula. They've already played Olentangy Orange, and those are the 2 teams that we're going to see matched up next, and they've beaten them both in the regular season.
Kings has had, I mean, they obviously edged out St. Joe's in that first set. I mean, they could easily, I mean, Jackie, either one of these teams could have either won in a sweep, I'm sorry. Kings could easily be up 2-1 as well. I mean, in these situations where really all 3 sets have been pretty much equal, how do you keep the morale of your team up when it's just you feel so defeated? You've played your heart out for 3 straight sets and you're down 2 sets to 1. Obviously, St. Joe's feels pretty good about it, but it has to wear mentally on this Kings team. How do you combat that? How do you manage that, of course, if you are Coach Meadows?
So Kings, their foundation of their match right now is defense, blocking and digging balls. Their offense is just not on right now. And so if they can continue to play defense the way that they have been, but their hitters find the floor a little bit more, I think the momentum's going to shift their way and we're going to see a 5th set.
44 ties, Jackie, and 20 lead changes. That's what we're working on here as the 4th set officially underway. And that's what you like to see if you're a Kings Knights fan right now. Again, it's not just the players that feel a little defeated. I mean, you could just tell the mental exhaustion on the parents' side. I mean, that was just a golf clap right there. They get on the board first. I mean, the parents are exhausted as well.
Yes, but it's no shock that Sydney Barrett is the first server coming off the bench right here or coming into the set 4 for the Kings, because she is just solid. We have seen her play a solid game from the serving line to defense to passing to hitting.
And it looks like it's going to be a quick 3-0 start for the Kings. And you know, and this happens too. Both teams could be in the crowd, especially being a little flat coming out of a intense matchup like this. But you know, if you're the Jaguars, what you got to be careful about, if you're Coach Latkovich, you don't take your foot off the gas, and the serving error by Sydney puts an end to that run. But you got to be careful if you're the Jags. It's been matched intensity from the very tip, and you don't want to lose that intensity by taking your foot off the gas because you're up 2 sets to 1 right now. Yoder setting this one up, and of course that's Marshall coming in. Clearing that was Yoder. Here comes Grooms. So a 3-0 start for the Kings, met by a quick little mini 2-0 run by St. Joe's.
And we saw that in set 2. St. Joe's came in and did a lot more off-speed shots, and I think they need to go back to that. That'll get Kings thinking about, is it going to be a hard hit or an off-speed hit, and the defense will have to work harder.
Very excellent play right there by Marshall. We've seen Marshall be very aggressive, especially on the corners, but that was a big one right there in the middle. We saw her make a play like that earlier in the match. They try to go right back to it, and then that was when they had the triple blockers right there waiting for it. So they can't be predictable here. They have to mix it up a bit. 4-2, Kings with the advantage. Henry on the serve right now, chasing that one down is Castelluccio again, and Grooms. It's been Sydney, it's been Marshall, and then it's been Grooms. It's been the 3 stars right now combined between both teams, making plays early, setting the tone.
And she's making good plays even if the set's not in a perfect location. She's smart and has good volleyball IQ on knowing when to throw that off-speed shot.
Molly Sullivan dropping back to serve for St. Joe's. Serve just clears the net. Yoder going to call this one out, set it up, and that's going to be Marshall who drops that one in right in front of Avery Anders.
Hey, I love that play. I think she needs to continue to keep the ball in bounds, just get that rhythm again on their side, and then focus on defense. That's what their foundation has been. So if they have to play it out, then get ready to block.
Yoder on the serve, and receiving that on the other end was Buckner, and here comes Grooms once again, the lefty. Strong strike, going to be right off the hands of Sydney Barrett, out of play, and now the St. Joe's cuts it back to within 1. Take a look at the replay.
Sydney Barrett just wasn't forward enough. She let the ball pass her, and she couldn't handle it on her angle.
And a serving error for Avery Anders.
I think she's thinking a little bit too hard. We've seen Avery Anders make some crucial serving errors here. It's not as bad here at the beginning of the set, but when it happens at the end, it's an unfortunate situation.
Only the 8th serving error of the afternoon for St. Joe's, as the Kings put another one up on the board to give themselves a little bit of a 3-point cushion there. But their 11th serving error of the 8th serving error of the afternoon, 11 total for the Knights. Castelluccio setting that one up for Grooms, and again, they anticipated that and talked about the defense for both teams today, but another good defensive performance right there.
Yeah, I think they need to start getting their middle involved more because everybody knows the ball is going to be set to Grooms, so they need to establish that middle earlier so that the block has to stay with them. Otherwise, they're just going to release out to Grooms.
This is game 1 of 2 out of our doubleheader for Division I semifinal action. We'll have Olentangy Orange going up against Toledo St. Ursula Academy coming up here for our second Division I matchup. An 8-4 advantage here in set 4 for the Kings as they trail 2 sets to 1, and what has been a uber competitive matchup here today, as we talked about the 44 ties and the 20 lead changes, and this is what it's all about, especially at this level right here. We saw McNicholas punch their ticket to the Division III state title game tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. They'll take on Lake Catholic. Lake Catholic knocked off St. Henry to punch their ticket there. And then you were on the call for the Division II matches yesterday. Mercy McCauley over Marlington. Mercy McCauley will take on Gilmore Academy in the Division II state championship match tomorrow morning as well, or afternoon, I should say. 8-5 now, Kings with the lead again. They still hold on to that 3-point advantage. Belle Grooms, who's had a magnificent afternoon, a magnificent senior season nonetheless. She punches it over there, and that's going to be a serving error. That's the second serving error of the 4th set. We talked about maybe not complacency, but again, they've taken their foot off the gas. You could tell that urgency is not there that we saw in the first 3 sets, and you could tell as they're down 4. I'm not mistaken, I think this might be the biggest deficit they've faced here today.
Yeah, and the consistency's kind of gone out the window. They need to go back into being a little bit more conservative versus, you know, trying to make the fancy play or the fancy serve.
Chloe Smith on the return for St. Joe's, and right there, none other than Abby Yoder, I believe, who was able to get that one cleared over the net. 10-5. This is the largest lead the Kings have had all afternoon. Kate Freeman on the serve. Grooms setting that one up, getting it out of play, and now you're starting to see some frustration settle in a little bit, and that point going to be awarded to the Kings.
The Jaguars are begging for a touch. They think that the blockers had their hands on it, and the referees did not see it. All they called was out of bounds.
So now Grooms setting this one up, and that's 4 on the return, and you could see the urgency a little bit more on the side of the Kings side of the net. As they trail 2-1, they're trying to extend this match, no doubt. And there's Sydney. Sydney, her shot at the front, met by Hannah Four.
Hannah Four, you can see her communicating with her teammates saying, great job. They talked about it earlier that Barrett has to be stopped, and so they set that block up well, forcing it back over to the Kings side.
McIntyre on the return right there. This one's set up. Good punch over there. Groom's going to go right back into the middle of 4. 4's been very impressive here this afternoon. They're going to go back to 4. 4 puts a little bit more behind that one. Right at Dakota Henry, who couldn't keep it in play, and that all of a sudden has given a little spark of life to the St. Joe side.
So before that kill that she just got, she had to transition 2 times. The conditioning level of a middle attacker has to be superb, and she's doing a great job of being available every time that her setter needs her.
Broom's going to go right back to 4. And 4 is carrying St. Joseph's right now, and I really like the fact that Grooms knows if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Grooms continuing to feed her right there in the middle.
Yeah, and I was a setter. And I would do that exact same thing. There's actually a drill you run where you just keep feeding your middle, and that is exactly what you should be doing. When your hitter is hot, you keep giving her the ball until the other team stops her.
Anders getting a piece of this one, and this time they're going to go opposite end. That's Chloe Smith on the return. 11-8. St. Joe's trails by 3. Ball still alive, it drops, and another big play at the net. And now all of a sudden, they started out the set with their foot off the gas a bit, and then they remembered, oh yeah, it's the semifinals. We gotta, you know, we gotta put this one away here in this set. They don't want to go to that 5th set. They want to take care of business here now.
And 4's again doing a great job of being a captain of that front row. She's handling the block and communicating well with her other teammates to set up the block well, creating their threat now. Mills is intimidated by what's in front of them on the Jaguars block. Take a look at this.
All right, so now just like that. All right, and we are back. We are tied up at 11-all. Sorry about that, a little mic malfunction, but we are off and rolling here. Sorry about that. All good, and a shout out to our producer in the back as well. He just said he doesn't know what happened. We don't know why it went off. We don't know how it got back on, but we're off and rolling, and that's all that matters. Tied up at 11-all here in set number 4 coming out of the timeout. Jackie, what's been the biggest change as far as the approach by St. Joseph, again, who they were down 6, it was 11-5, and now all of a sudden they're cruising.
Yeah, and they're just relying on each other and trusting each other in their roles. Unfortunately, after timeouts, they struggled getting the ball in the serving. That was a crucial point that they needed to get in.
So the Kings, they take the lead right back into the air coming out of the timeout. There's a smart timeout code called by Coach Meadows. When the Kings were up 11-5, a 6-0 run. Of course, they had no other choice but to call that timeout. And all right, we welcome you back, Justin Kinner, Jackie Klein. We apologize just for the technical difficulties, but we are off and rolling again once more. Thank you for your patience. And Jackie, well, we were away from the action for a bit. We come back, and well, we didn't miss anything. It's exactly what we've seen through the first 2.5, 3.5 sets. It's just back and forth, unbelievable. Really, no team has been able to establish any kind of dominant momentum at all. So equally matched here throughout this entire matchup. And right now, that was Ava Schroeder again coming up with a big play.
Yeah, that's the second time we've seen her throw that tip or dump over as the setter, and it's been effective. She needs to continue to do that when she is in the front row.
15-15 now here in the set number 4. And that was Grooms on the return. Keep in mind the Knights trying to fight off elimination here. And they're going to fight off elimination when you get plays like that from Ava McIntyre. And you really reacted to that.
Big swing. That was crucial of her for her team. That just brings energy and fire. I mean, we talked about her not being the tallest person on the team, but she is a solid 5'10", and she uses every ounce of her muscles to get as high as possible.
First of all, very impressive dig right there, because that was a super powerful play by Grooms. And right now, St. Joe's will come out with the point. That might be the first time that the Kings have kind of had a different opinion for how a call went their way, but a strong strike into the block and out of play.
Right. St. Joe's has had some weird calls that have not gone their way, so they were very happy to see that one hit the line.
Dakota Henry popping this one up in the air, and it'll be cleared by Elise Marshall. Castelluccio going to set it up behind her. So Belle Grooms, she just has that in her back pocket, it seems, where she could just take it up to another level, and I feel like that level has been reached on the last couple of plays here.
Yeah, and her setter set an out-of-system set, meaning, or not out of system, but against the flow. She was running forward, but then delivered the ball backwards, which left a major hole in the block.
Castelluccio getting a piece of this one, and Grooms again. That return just clips the top of the net and drops. Grooms has just been fantastic here over the last series of points for the Jaguars, and now they have a 2-point advantage.
I love how these teams celebrate. When I talk to young kids about celebrating in volleyball, I say it's like when your mom hands you a $100 bill. You don't just stand there and go, "Thanks, Mom." You get excited and you jump around, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're hugging each other, they're pushing each other, and that creates some great energy on the floor.
I've never had my mom give me a $100 bill, but I'm imagining that's how I would respond, just like that. To be honest.
Let's see how it goes.
What a big-time play. Again, the momentum continuing to roll for the Jaguars. Take a look. It's just power play after power play. And this time it wasn't Grooms. She decided to let someone else have some fun, and Ford decided to step up and make another big play like she has all afternoon.
And anytime Ford is one-on-one against a blocker, she is going to win.
You see Coach Latkovich again, just very passionate on the sideline. Her team feeding off of that. 19-17 St. Joe's hits into the block. Ball still live on the return. Grooms getting a piece of this one. Popping it in the air is Anders. And now here comes, of course, Chloe Smith. Ball still live. Grooms pops it up on the return. There is Buckner. Mistake right there, and that's going to lead to a much-needed point on the Kings side of the net. They cut it to within one now.
And Grooms, she took ownership of that one because the set rolled off of her hands funny and ended up almost behind the 10-foot line, which was really hard for Buckner to make good contact with.
On the serve was Freeman. This time they're going to go right back to Hannah Ford, who's in the middle. Hannah Ford's made some big plays anytime she has been in the middle. She does have Chloe Smith to her left. Going to go right back. Oh, no, I thought they were going to Ford. Ford was calling for it. But you know what? When you have so many weapons, that's fine, because Chloe Smith, she took care of business.
And so Castelluccio did exactly her job. You thought the ball was going to the middle, and then it gets dished to somebody else, and so did Kings. And so that's what leaves the blockers one-on-one. That's the ultimate goal. How many times can the setter have the blockers on the other say, "Oh no, I got beat"?
21-18, St. Joe's extends their lead to 3 now, and they are 4 points away from punching their ticket to the state championship match tomorrow afternoon. It'll be the first time, if they could do it, it'll be the first time they get there since 2017, of course. But right now, crucial timeout. Kings, right now, is a crucial timeout. Whatever the message is, hopefully they respond. This is right now the most crucial situation of this match. I'll tell you what, there's a pause in the action on the floor. We'll take a pause in the action ourselves. We'll be right back.
Looking for future leaders we can...
St. Joe's leads at 2-1. The Kings trail 2-1, of course, but they trail by 3 here in the 4th set. They're trying to extend this match. And they're going to go right to their star player. Jackie, the thing that's like the Kings have been very good out of timeout. I don't have the number in front of me, but if I had to guess, I'd say at least 90 to 95% that they have scored coming out of every timeout. Whatever adjustments they make, whatever message is delivered, they respond real well coming out of these TOs. And the bad thing, though, for the Kings is they don't have any timeouts remaining. Groom setting this one up in the middle. They're going to go right back to 4. Ball still alive. Yoder pops this one up, and they're going to go right back to Sydney Barrett, who has that return. Sydney Barrett, another crack at it. That's deflected off the top of the net. Andrews can't get there. Back-to-back points for the Kings coming out of the timeout, back to within 1.
Kings needs to keep delivering the ball to Barrett in the front row, and then they also have Marshall out of the back row. So if they can switch it off every once in a while, they're going to keep the St. Joe's block questioning what's going on and create better opportunities for their hitters.
Big play at the net here, and again, that's going to be a big-time play made by Sophia Richardson. Sophia Richardson, Jackie, 6'1", a sophomore. The sophomore making big plays in the state semifinals.
She did a great job of making sure that she deflected that ball towards the sideline instead of straight ahead, which makes it harder to defend.
A 3-0 run coming out of the timeout, potentially a 4-0 run if they score here. Clearing it is Grooms. Chasing that one down, of course, was Henry, and setting it up cross court is Yoder. High in the air, here comes Chloe Smith. Chloe Smith too strong, too much Chloe Smith behind that one. Jackie, it was 21-18 at the timeout. Energy was flat for the Kings fans in that side of the net. Then all of a sudden, like no surprise all afternoon, they come roaring back, a 4-0 run. Talked about the runs of 3, well, they're in a run of 4 right now, and the most crucial run of 4 they've had all afternoon.
They're not going down without a fight. They want this 5th set today, and then it's gonna come down to 15 points once they get there. They've worked hard to be here. They've had a tough season. They've shown that they deserve to be here. Despite it being their first time, they do not look rattled one bit.
The Kings, of course, they had to. I mean, they dominated in the sectional tournament and district, Jackie, but they escaped Cincinnati Ursuline Academy in the regional semifinals. It took 5 sets there, and then it took 4 sets to get past Cincinnati St. Ursula Academy to punch their ticket here to this matchup with St. Joseph's. And if they want to extend this match, they're going to have to play in a 5-set match for the second time in 3 tries if they can close out this one here. It was 21-28 St. Joe's with the lead, a 4-0 run coming out of the previous timeout. I've talked about how impressive the Kings have been coming out of timeouts, and if they want to win this set, Jackie, they have to continue that trend of being good out of the TO. On the serve is Ava McIntyre. McIntyre on the serve coming out of the timeout. Kings lead 22-21. Groom sets it up. That's Alvarez. Good dig right there by Henry. And no, that's going to be a point. The whistle blows. I didn't even hear the whistle. That's how loud it is in here. The Kings improve to a 23-21 lead.
And we talked about how referees are not calling a lot of double contacts, but the ball came out completely spinning from Grooms' hands, so that's a double contact ball handling error on St. Joe's.
Alvarez calls this one out. Here comes Chloe Smith on the return. Meeting it in the middle there was Henry. Cross court, they're going to go right back to Sydney Barrett. Sydney Barrett, who's been dominant all afternoon, would love to have that one back just to bring it in a few inches. Too strong on the return. It gives St. Joe's a point. They cut it back to within 1. The Kings, though, still with the lead late here in the 4th. 1 point away from setting up a set-point opportunity, but the Jaguars 1 point away from tying this all up at 23-all. That's number 8 to McKenna Reed on the serve, and Yoder going to set this one up. They're going to go right back to Sydney Barrett. Sydney Barrett has her shot blocked back into play, and what a response by St. Joe's. We can't even hear ourselves talk. That's how loud and fired up and passionate this St. Joe's Academy fan base is behind us.
St. Joe's knows it's going to Barrett, so that they're releasing early. And you can see them at the net. They're actually communicating about it and pointing at players saying, watch out for her.
Sydney Barrett jumps in there. And she quickly quiets the purple crowd and allows the red crowd to get on their feet and make some noise. You talked about those 500 shirts. There's more than 500 people here, no doubt, cheering on this team. Sydney Barrett just lining it in right past O'Malley there. So a set point opportunity. The Kings, they score here. We go to the 5th set, tied at 2 apiece. St. Joseph's trying to fight off this Kings comeback attempt. Popping this one up. Here comes Alvarez. Alvarez lines it in. Alvarez, a huge play. Alvarez has been very effective on that left side of the net, and she probably made her biggest play of the game this afternoon, tying this one up at 24 in the fourth.
So in practices, coaches, we always are putting scenarios where it's tied and you have to win by 2 because of games like this. It comes down to that pressure of when you're on the line, can you get it in or hit it in when it's this crucial?
The play of Anders, and that's a huge one right there from Elise Marshall, our player to watch. We've highlighted her all afternoon. We've talked about big play after big play that she's made, but none bigger than that one right here. Take a look.
Overpasses are a tall girl's best friend. As you can see how she handled that one very well.
Dakota Henry dropping back to serve, a set point opportunity, trying to tie this one up in a set apiece. This time they're going to go right back to Alvarez. Alvarez lines it in, ball high in the air. Marshall clears it. Anders gets a piece of it. This time they're going to go right back to O'Malley. And O'Malley, the Energizer Bunny, as we've called her all day, makes another big play. Big play countered by big play. This is what the state semifinals, the level of the state tournament is meant for.
She doesn't need a big swing to score. She just tapped that in. And there, she's at the net right now, and she is pointing at the other team and saying, watch her. Ball's coming outside.
Molly Sullivan on the serve. Yoder going to set this one up, coming in hot right there. Sydney Barrett. O'Malley makes a big play for St. Joe's. Sydney Barrett responds with a big play of her own on the Kings side. This is just a few plays removed from when, of course, we saw a huge play by Marshall. Take a look.
And we've seen her do this in the past. She's actually back row. It's that sneak attack coming from the right back position, which is called a red.
All right, that's Abby Yoder dropping back to serve for the Kings. A set point opportunity here again, and it drops, and the ace leads to a 4-set tie. The 5th set coming up, and a chance to get to the state championship match tomorrow afternoon on the line. Man, oh man, take a look and look at the crowd, the sea of red behind. When this ball hits the floor, those are memories and experiences that not only the players will remember for the rest of their lives, but the fans as well. But we're not done yet. We're tied up at 2 sets apiece, and the 5th and final deciding set is coming up next. Jackie Klein, Justin Kinner on the call. We're not done having fun. We got more fun coming your way. The 5th set next. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5. Jackie, that's what we have on our hands here in this Division I semifinal. The Jaguars and the Kings. It all comes down to this 5th set with the state championship appearance on the line.
The Kings fans are just really getting active. I actually watched the regional finals when they played and won, and the entire red wave came on the floor. And so I expect them to help the energy stay on the sides of Kings in this 5th setup. It's a game to 15 points. You have to win by 2. The captains actually met with the down ref to flip the coin again to see who serves first. And it went in the favor of St. Joe's. They will have the first ball, and then it's really down to who gets to 8 first. Usually that is where the momentum lies.
You see the Kings 4-0 in 5-set games this season. Both teams are actually, both teams have played in a combined 6 5-set matches on the season. Both teams have combined 6-0. But the Jaguars 2-0 in 5-set matches this season, Jackie. But they've outscored their opponents 30-9. Make that 30-10 now. They've been pretty dominant in these 5-set matches. Really, both teams have.
And every point is so crucial in this 15-point set because you just don't have any time to make up for those runs.
54 ties, 24 lead changes. My goodness, what an afternoon we've had here, and what an afternoon, what a start, I should say, to this 5th set for the Kings. You know, the start of the 4th set was a little flat on both sides because everyone was emotionally exhausted after that 3rd set. Everyone's exhausted now, but everyone's running on adrenaline, Jackie, because that's what the Kings are doing right now. They're up to a 2-0 start. The Jags trying to get their first point of this 5th set. And you called it. I could see your hand signal over here before the official even got to it.
Yeah, so Castelluccio is back row, and she jumped to try to save it, but her hand crossed over the plane of the net, which is a back row attack.
On the serve right there, of course. None other than number 24, Sydney Barrett, and that's going to drop out of play, and that's a good response by St. Joe's. St. Joe's could not have asked for a worse start, no offense to him, down 3-0, but again, O'Malley right there, the Energizer Bunny, they put 1 point up on the board, but she counts as 2 because they're going to feed off that energy coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
She's coming out of that 4th set with a hitting percentage of .421, so she's definitely the person to get the ball to right now.
No doubt. Avery Anders pops this one up. They're going to go to the star and Belle Grooms. Belle Grooms on her shot has that handled, and now we're going to see Marshall on the push. Anders pops this one up, opposite end. That's Buckner. Both teams kind of slowing down now, and that was Sophia Richardson. Sophia Richardson's made some big plays at the net as far as blocking and really just kind of in the short part of the court, but that was her first real big play towards the back corner.
Yeah, and she does a good job of pushing the ball deep. She hit the line there. I mean, as a hitter, you know that the block is going to take up the middle of the court. That's their job. So if you can send it deep, it's going to be your point every time.
All right, they get the ball back in position to clear it here, and clearing it was Sydney Barrett. Lucio now sets it up for Grooms, and Grooms pushes that over, and that was handled by Yoder. And now here comes Marshall.
Marshall, she has been the queen of the off-speed shot in the later half of this match. She finds the open court. She comes in looking like she's going to hit it hard and then throws the roll shot.
Unbelievable. And that leads to a timeout on the floor. It's 5-1 Kings. Jackie, we've seen St. Joe's be the aggressors for most of these where they jump out to an early lead and set the tone. It's the complete opposite. What's changed? A team like the Kings have been trying to set the tone for the first 4 sets. They figured it out here in the 5th. What has changed in your opinion?
St. Joe's is just struggling to pass. They're not taking serve reception and turning it into a 3 pass. In serve receive, we keep stats on if the ball is towards the net and the setter has the ability to set all 3 hitters, you get 3 points for that. Anything beyond the 10-foot line and maybe the 20-foot area is a 2 pass. Obviously, a 1 means you can only set 1 hitter and an ace is 0. And right now, their stats have been living in that 1 zone. And so it becomes very predictable on who's going to be set the ball.
All right, St. Joe's has to score 14 before the Kings score 10 right now. A 5-1 advantage. Kings out to the hot start here early, but timeouts have definitely been momentum killers for both sides. We'll see how the Kings respond coming out of this timeout. That was Dakota Henry on the serve, and they go to O'Malley. O'Malley has her shot handled again. That was set up by Yoder, and a strong strike right there, and none other than the name we've called a lot today, it's Sydney Barrett.
Sydney Barrett, she just plays level-headed, and when she gets the opportunity to swing hard, she takes advantage of that. She's in the middle. They weren't expecting it. Great job by Sydney Barrett.
That's her 22nd kill of the afternoon, and now here comes Grooms. Grooms gets another crack at it. And there was Marshall waiting for it. Yoder pops this one up behind her, and that's going to be too strong by Sydney Barrett on that attempt. But that gives St. Joe's their 2nd point of set number 5. 6-2 Kings, and now dropping back to serve will be Avery Anders for the Jaguars. Long serve and good awareness. Right now you're tense, so you want to have that instinct to immediately make a play on that ball, and it was good communication. Everyone was shouting, don't touch it, as it was making its way to the back line.
I know, but that is Anders' 3rd missed serve in a crucial situation. They almost maybe were expecting it.
And that's going to drop again, and my goodness, the Kings have been absolutely dominant here in the 5th set. They've tied their largest lead of the evening here today, 8-2. And that'll be the final timeout called by St. Joe's. And a 60-second break in the action is what they'll have to work with to figure out whatever it is they need to figure out to come out and regain momentum, because, again, running to 15, this one's almost over if they're not careful.
So at the beginning of this match, we talked about the Kings needing to focus in the present, and that is exactly what they're doing. And we also talked about them attacking from the service line, which we have seen them do both those things in this set.
All right, so both teams about to break their huddle and make their way back out onto the floor. There is not one person, I mean, in both student sections, there's not one student sitting right now. And heck, you look over, there's not a whole lot of parents sitting, especially on the side of Kings. Remember, either of these teams have never won a state championship. St. Joe's has been to the state semifinals a few times. They did back in 2020, 17, and 16. They were state runners-up in 17. But this is the first ever appearance for the Kings, and man, this is a memorable first appearance, and they would like to cap it off a memorable appearance for a good reason, and that means punching their ticket to the state title game tomorrow. But man, what a matchup here today. 8-2, Kings lead it coming out of the timeout, set number 5. Castelluccio setting this one up right there in the middle for 4. Henry setting this one up, and coming in is Marshall, coming out of the timeout. Talked about it all afternoon. They've been excellent out of the TO, regardless of who calls it. Look at this play.
So out of system, Dakota Henry had to become the setter, and Marshall was there and ready. The ball was in the perfect location for her to make decisions, and she found that cross-court floor.
Castelluccio setting it up for Grooms.
Grooms is carrying a little bit of anger. You can see that in her fire as she landed there. She's saying, come on, team, let's put this together, start doing our jobs, refocus, we've got this.
There was not one smile on that play, but it's not like they're hanging their heads. It was just nothing but pure intensity. I don't think any match this season has brought out the intensity that this one has, and now all of a sudden they're feeding off of that. Grooms with the big kill to set up the momentum to put an end to the run for Kings, and then she drops back and picks up a huge ace to again start to shift that momentum back to the purple side. 9-4, Kings still lead it, but a little momentum shift here. We'll see if Grooms can continue here on the serve. Henry getting a piece of this one, popping it up as Yoder, and here comes McIntyre. Grooms going to set this one up, and here comes Chloe Smith. So now, Belle Grooms made a couple big plays, but she's still a part of another big play as the perfect setup for Chloe Smith. Take a look.
Great leaders do great things, and we're seeing that right now from Grooms. She is almost taking charge from the service line and as the setter, which is essentially the same as the quarterback in football. She's leading from both areas.
She has so in the last 4 points for St. Joseph, she has a kill, 2 aces, and an assist. Grooms is literally willing her team back into this because the Kings could have easily steamrolled them here in this 5th set. But like I said, a kill, two aces, and that assist right there, it's completely shifted the vibe of this matchup, especially here in this 5th set.
Yeah, we still have a little bit of a cushion though. The Kings are up by 3. They've reached that 8-point mark. You know, before COVID, we used to have to switch sides.
Yep.
And in the 5th set at 8 points, you would switch sides to make sure that both teams had the advantage. But since COVID, they've kind of adopted the rule that we're just gonna stay on the benches that we're at. So that's why you always wanted to get to 8 first, because you wanted to have that momentum when you were switching sides.
And the students into it. The intensity on the faces of the player, the nerves on the facial expressions of the parents right here. I mean, this is what it's all about coming out of the timeout. Jackie, there's 1 timeout remaining, and it's for the Kings. And if the Kings have to use that timeout, that's a good thing for St. Joe's, because that means they made a run to get back into this more than they already have. Grooms has been dominant. We'll see if she can continue her dominance coming out of the timeout. Good dig right there by Henry to get a piece of this one. Here comes McIntyre. McIntyre lines it in right off the hands of Anders.
That was a great play by McIntyre. It's not the most comfortable set for her. She's left-handed on the outside, but she's able to find the court and create that kill.
Elise Marshall on the serve. They lead it 10-6, and this time they're going to go right back into Hannah 4. Yoder cross court, back to Sydney Barrett. Sydney Barrett makes it 11-6, back to a 5-point advantage. St. Joe's cut it to within 3, but big-time plays like this have opened it back up.
It's awesome that Barrett is in the front row right now for Kings, since she's such a foundation for them. It's going to be somebody that we're going to see them go back to here to win this.
And a mistake right there. Addison Buckner, she wanted that one, but this time the jump and into the net, 12-6. And the Kings are 3 points away here in their very first state appearance ever of punching their ticket to their first ever state finals appearance tomorrow afternoon. But these 3 points seems like a lot, though. They have to close it out. Grooms going right back to 4. Ball back and forth, volleyed around, and that's going to be a big and much-needed point for St. Joe's.
They need runs here. They need a run, so they have to take care of business here on the service line. And what the hardest thing is as a server is making sure you get it in and bringing some heat. It's a very mental process on that service line.
And what you don't want there, Addison Buckner, unfortunately, made the mistake of hitting into the net, and now that, again, the mental side of this, the pressure starting to pick up, and that's playing a huge role in this, and this is where the fans on the other side are starting to play a role too, where it's making this huge gym feel like it's shrinking in on you, no doubt about it. Kate Freeman dropping back to serve. Her team leads at 13-7, trying to set up a set point opportunity. Groom's going to set it up right there in the middle for Hannah Four. Still alive. Set up right at the net. That's McIntyre. Good dig in the back row. That's Buckner once again. Cleared by Marshall. Again, now Groom's going to set it up behind her, and this one's for Chloe Smith. Buckner getting a piece of this one, and now another opportunity for Chloe Smith. Good diving play. Ball still live in play. Anders pops this one up. Here comes Alvarez. Yoder setting it up. Groom's getting a piece of it. Anders setting it up again. Cross court and coming in hot. Chloe Smith.
What a rally, back and forth, and great volleyball through the whole thing. There wasn't just a free ball. We saw attack and big swing after big swing.
Coach Lakovich again on the floor. I mean, still smile on her face, just trying to keep it loose for her team right now. She knows they need runs. Yoder setting up. McIntyre hits into the block. Ball still alive. Good job there by the defense of Alvarez up front, and another big defensive play. And guess what, Jackie? Who did that? O'Malley.
She's on fire out there. Talking to her blockers. Triple block on Marshall from the back row. I do expect that this next ball is probably going to go to Barrett if at all possible.
13-9 now. The Kings trying to set up a set point opportunity here to potentially close it out. And the Jaguars not going away quietly. Alvarez lines it in. Good dig by Marshall to keep it alive. Back into play on the other end. This time it's set up behind, going back to Alvarez. Ball deflected at the net. Kept alive there by McIntyre. Getting a piece of it is Henry, and now you just called it. They're going to go right back to Sydney Barrett. And Sydney Barrett sets it up here. Take a look.
Big swing, not scared one bit, looking for the line, found it. You know, it's a very comfortable position once you've reached that set point, match point. But I don't expect St. Joseph to lay down and just give it, so they're gonna have to work hard all the way through this.
Here we go now. Groom's gonna set it up, trying to keep this alive. It's set back into play, ball volleyed around. Good clear there by Grooms. Here we go, and Yoder, cross court. Sydney lines it in, right off the arms of Anders. Can they get to it? They don't. And the Kings Knights are going to the Division I state championship match tomorrow afternoon. Their first state appearance ever. Memorable nonetheless, but even more memorable now as they'll have a chance to fight for a Division I state championship tomorrow. Your final here from Wright State University's Netter Center. The Kings Knights 15-9 in set number 5, and they win it in 5. And this is one of those matches you just feel bad because both of these teams, none of them deserve to lose this matchup here today. An unbelievable performance to set the tone here on Semifinal Friday. All right, we're going to step away for a few moments. We're going to send it down to the floor where Michelle Mimna, our sideline reporter, is going to catch up with Amanda Meadows. And charged up Amanda Meadows. The lights are, I mean, it's just an unbelievable atmosphere here. This has been a lot of fun, and we're not done yet. We're going to step away for a few-minute break. Michelle Mimna, she'll catch up with Coach Meadows when we come back. 54 ties, 24 lead changes, 5 sets, and it took every single second and every single ounce of energy on both sides of the net here in our first of 2 Division I semifinal matchups. An unbelievable performance tonight. The Kings Knights in their first state tournament appearance have punched their ticket to the state championship match tomorrow. We're now going to send it down to the floor as Michelle Mimna has the coach of the winning Knights and Amanda Meadows.
All right, Coach. As Justin said, just back and forth the entire time. You guys got outblocked 12-7. You say you're not that big of the detail thing, but how did you beat a team that was really outplaying you at the net for some of that match?
Honestly, the same way we've won all year. I think our biggest strength is our fight and our grit. We refuse to lose. I mean, all the skills, of course, at practice, the details and form and coverage and getting your block in the right spot, getting your body angled the right way. All those details are important. But when it comes game time, we're just a bunch of fighters that refuse to lose, and that's why we are where we are. That's why I love my team. They never stop fighting, no matter what. We weren't worried about, we don't worry about going to 5 because we've gone to 5 a lot and we've never lost. So we got this.
Where does St. Joe's rank in terms of the quality of team you played this season?
Oh goodness, I mean, we just came off of 2 GGCL teams, Ursuline and St. Ursula, that were phenomenal, and obviously St. Joe's, hats off to them. They're phenomenal also. I mean, what can I say?
Yeah.
They each have different strengths about them, you know, having the lefty, being their big gun, knowing you have to focus on them, but then you got to keep tracking your middles too because they can blast the ball straight down, and they did. They did plenty of times. I think the best thing we did as far as handling it was not let it phase us. I mean, we were missing a lot of serves earlier, and we're just a team that's a go-for-it team. Never once, when we were missing serves, did we say to our girls, we got to start getting our serves in. That's just not how we play.
Okay.
We keep going for serving the back into the court or a short serve or where we want, try to get them out of system. We never say, oh my gosh, you got to keep your serve in. That's just not how we are. It's not how we coach.
To
my
take
staff,
risks,
my staff and I are all on the same page. My staff is amazing. I mean, we wouldn't be here without like the most amazing staff. The hours that we put into watching game film the last 2 weeks. I mean, I don't know if any of us have slept more than 4 hours a night. Next week, I'm just gonna crash.
Yeah. When you are done coming down off of the high that you're on right now, what's something that you want to tell your team heading into the first state championship match that you've been a part of?
You know, the message has been similar all year. Like, we've planned to be here. There is no other option. We're going to be here. We've told them you got to do both, staying calm and use this electric energy. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, but the place was red. I mean, it has been amazing. I've always appreciated our community. I had no clue, overwhelming the support from our send-off today with the entire school and signs all over town. Yeah. It's just been, it's just amazing, and we're a team that just really gives all the glory to God. We praise Him, we find strength in Him, and here we are. It's working for us.
What a great match. Probably one of the best matches of the weekend, so congratulations.
Thank you
great
so
fight.
much.
Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
All right, Justin, back to you.
Thank you, Michelle. Excellent stuff. And again, congratulations to the Kings Knights
in
their first ever state appearance. They punched their ticket to their very first ever state championship match tomorrow afternoon. The Kings Knights, they're in the Division I state championship match tomorrow at 3 p.m. and they'll await the winner between our second game of our Division I doubleheader. Olentangy Orange getting set to take on Toledo St. Ursula Academy. And that's how we'll round out our Division I action. That wraps it up for us here again. Your final in 5, the Kings Knights take care of business in a classic against St. Joseph Academy and the Jaguars. And we'll take a little bit of a break before we get back into it with more Division I semifinal action. Olentangy Orange and Toledo St. Ursula coming up here in just a little bit. Thank you to our producers and all the fans and everyone that tuned in. This has been the OHSA Division I semifinals on the NFHS Network.